All right, so per Poshmark's drop shipping policy, you're not allowed to facilitate the sale of from somebody else's store or somebody else's as a manufacturer to a customer without actually having the product in your possession, right? So then what they do is they basically tell you you're not allowed to drop ship, you're not allowed to list items from other stores that you're not going to ship out to the customer yourself, okay? So you can't go out on AliExpress and list items and then when people buy them, order them from AliExpress, and then have AliExpress ship them to the customer. You can't do that with any website whatsoever. You can't retail dropship from Amazon. You can't retail dropship from, what's another popular one? From Walmart, from literally anything. Any of the websites, you're not allowed to retail dropship and have them directly ship to the customer. You have to ship the product to your customer yourself, which means you have to have the product in your possession to ship it out to the customer. So how then can we drop ship on Poshmark within their terms of service and still get the same margins and still utilize the same business model? Well, we need two different things, right? We need fast shipping to our house or to our door, wherever we are if we're in an apartment. And we also need free shipping. So free shipping and fast shipping, okay? Now, on Poshmark, you have 3 days to initiate a shipment. Okay, so that means when somebody places the order on your closet, you have 3 days to actually initiate that shipment and ship it out to the customer. So that's a very vital, important piece that you need to keep in mind, because if you order from a site like Amazon, for example, which you get free Prime, if you have Amazon Prime, you get free 2-day shipping, and a lot of times now you get free 1-day shipping, right? So to give you an example, and obviously you can do this from Walmart, Target, a number of other websites that we'll cover here specifically in a lecture or two, but it really, really helps you out, because if you list an item for a markup on Amazon or from Amazon, right, then the customer buys that Amazon product from your closet, then you can order that product for Amazon for less than they purchased it from, already make the markup, and it's going to come to your door within a day or two, and you have enough time to initiate that shipment out to the customer within the 3-day Poshmark terms of service time period. So that is how you're going to drop ship on Poshmark within the terms of service. I hope that makes sense to you. If you really need to watch it again, then go ahead and rewind the video, rewatch it again, and hopefully I'll be able to explain it a little bit slower for you. But that's the general gist of it, because when you order from a site like Amazon, for example, it comes to your door, then you initiate the shipment in less than 3 days, you can still list a bunch of things for free, because you don't actually have to go ahead and purchase those items ahead of time. You actually don't need the inventory. You can go ahead and take all the risk out of the equation and get all the potential profit margin, right? So if you list an item and it doesn't sell, you don't lose anything. You didn't have to purchase that item initially, right? If you list an item and it does sell, well, great. Obviously, you can make the markup on that, order it to your house, and then ship it out to the customer, keep the profit margin, and then continue reselling that product, because obviously that's going to sell well, because obviously there's a market for it on Poshmark and people are buying for it. So that's where the trial and error comes in, something we'll talk about in the future, in future lectures. But that's the overall gist of the Poshmark dropshipping business model and how you can do it within terms of service. So I want to take you through a short example of how to get free shipping supplies and free shipping boxes to your door so that you can increase your margins, right? Because if you have to go out there and pay for boxes or pay for, bags or shipping supplies, that's going to cut into your profit margins, and you don't want that to happen. So one thing that a lot of people don't realize when they first get started on Poshmark is all of their shipping is priority mail shipping, which means you have to ship it USPS, okay? You have to ship it through the post office. But that is good for you because you get access to all their free priority mail shipping boxes and shipping supplies for free on their website. So if you go to USPS.com and you go to Quick Tools and you go to, free boxes, then all of these boxes right here, you can get shipped to your house or your apartment or to your door or wherever for free. You'll see $0, $0. There's no shipping involved. They literally just drop them off because they want you to use their service. So I'm going to show you some of my favorites that I go through. I'm going to short this down to 48 results per page. Now, I've used I don't use any of the regional rates, but what I do, so I like this one right here, and make sure when you're ordering these boxes, you're not going after the blue one. See the two differences here? You have Priority Mail and you have Priority Mail Express. You don't, with your Poshmark labels, you can't ship the blue. You can't ship Priority Mail Express. You can only ship Priority Mail. So all the red ones, if it's a blue box like this, you can't ship it. If it's a blue box like this, you can't ship with it. Okay, so it has to be the red boxes like these. So this red box right here, the Priority Mail box, I got a bunch of them right over there. I use them all the time. They're great. Right here, medium flat rate box. I use all these all the time. They're great. Where's priority small flat rate box? They're great. These are great, the normal boxes. And they tell you all the dimensions here, so obviously based on what you think your products are going to be that you're drop shipping, you can go ahead and grab those boxes. But what I like to do is I just like to go ahead and order a bunch of them ahead of time so that I know initially that I have all the potential boxes in my possession to ship out. I'd go over and get them for you, but they're over in the corner and there's so freaking many. There's probably, I don't know, 300 over there, right? So a lot of them are packages. They're not necessarily always boxes, which I'll show you here in a second, because I use the packages a lot, the padded envelopes and the envelopes, but we'll cover that here in a second. So I order a bunch of them to my house, and then obviously I just keep them here so I have free shipping supplies. Let's see some other good ones that I use. So I use this medium flat rate box from time to time. I also use these from time to time. So when I used to ship out and drop ship a lot of like scratch off maps, these were perfect for it right here. You just throw the scratch off map in it. Sometimes you want to get these if you have like a long, really thin thing. So like a poster is another example of something that you can throw into here. Priority box, I've used these before. And where are the padded ones that are my favorite? I'll show you. Obviously, you can go through and pick the ones that you feel like are best for you. Pick a bunch of them. They're free. You might as well. Okay, so here we go. So I use these flat rate envelopes for little things. I also use the padded. Where are the padded ones? I'm not seeing them here. I see the priority mail padded, but I'm not seeing the other ones. So maybe they're on the next page. And priority, where are they? There we go. Okay, so these are my favorite. These right here, the padded flat rate envelopes. I literally order just packs and packs and packs of these. I use them all the time. The majority of the items that I'm shipping on Poshmark, if it's closed, fit in these perfectly. And then it comes with a little padded thing to protect your item. If they're not closed, a lot of things fit in these as well. They're kind of stretch a little bit, but for the majority of things I ship out with these are the things I use the most. So I have a bunch of boxes over there, I have a bunch of envelopes over there, and a bunch of different size things, but these are what I have the most. There's probably about 100 of those over there in the corner right now. I highly recommend that you order a bunch of these. But you can go through and pick from these. They're all 100% free. And then that's really going to not cut into your profit margins because you're getting all your boxes for free. All right, so I taught you the drop shipping business model and how you implement it, but that requires that you have free shipping and websites to get products to your door in a short period of time, right? That way you can keep the margin and also get the products in the shortest period of time so that you can initiate the shipment within 3 days, right? Makes sense. So where can you order from? What websites can you do this from? Where can you get products, right? So my three main favorite websites are obviously Amazon with Amazon Prime. That's my go-to. Products are going to come to your door within 2 or 1 day sometimes, depending on that specific item and where it is in fulfillment centers. And then obviously when you have Prime membership, you get free shipping. So if you need Amazon Prime, I'll drop a trial to that will be on the right side of this actual lecture. It will be in a little document. If you open up that Word document, that will have a free, I believe it's a free 30-day trial to Amazon Prime, so you can test it out yourself and you don't have to pay for it. Now, Walmart is my second favorite probably. They also have free 2-day shipping. So on Walmart, you can get free 2-day shipping. You're getting great products to your door in 2 days. It's a great place to do so as well. And then Target.com as well. A lot of their products, and I believe, I'm not sure if it's every product or just a lot of them, but a lot of their products, especially, you can get to your house in 2 days with free shipping. So these are my three favorites, but you can practically order from any website that you want that has free shipping and comes to your door within 3 business days. All right, so really briefly, I want to talk about what products you should go after when you're listing items for retail dropshipping. Now, there's 2 main factors that I like to do, but obviously you can list practically whatever you want, no matter if it's from Amazon, if it's from Walmart, if it's from anywhere, any of those websites that we covered, or literally anywhere. At the end of the day, it's just trial and error. That said, you can give yourself kind of a better chance to list better items if you keep 2 things in mind. So I like to either go after trending items for that time of year. Perfect example of this would be bathing suits, or I like to go after trending topics or trending things that are going on in the world currently right now. So I'll give you 2 examples of that second one here in a second, but I'm also going to give you the example of bathing suits. Now, bathing suits is a perfect thing for me to list in my dropshipping store right now because currently it is summer here where I'm at, and there's a lot of women on the Poshmark platform, right? So if I list women's bathing suits for this time of year, chances are they're going to sell better right now than if I listed winter coats, right? So that's what you want to keep in mind. You want to go out and list those types of things. Now, another thing is a good example of this is like clutches, because a lot of girls, I hate that I know this, but it's true because my girlfriend tells me, if you go after and you go like clutch purses, a lot of women carry a lot of different clutch purses, and this is an example of one that I've listed for dropshipping before for a markup. A lot of people will carry clutch purses around because they don't want to have like a big bulky purse. They want something small and sleek when they're, when it's summer and they don't really have baggy clothes out, or they don't have a big jacket that they're also carrying around. So clutches and bathing suits, great examples of things that are trending currently for this specific time of year. Now, 2 examples of things that are trending products. So when Game of Thrones was going on, I used to drop ship Game of Thrones stuff all the time because there were super fanatical people searching for Game of Thrones. So I would drop ship like Game of Thrones banners, like drop ship the Game of Thrones Monopoly game, all sorts of stuff. It's a great way to drop ship items, go after trending topics that people are after currently during this time period, not just this time of year, but what's going on right now in the world. Another example of something that's trending is like Trump squeeze toys, I think they were called. Trump squeeze balls, right? Because when Trump got elected, regardless of whether you're a conservative or you're a liberal or what your political views are, I don't really follow politics. I don't really personally care. There were a lot of people, it was hard to deny that there were a lot of people out there that absolutely hated Trump, right? That would have literally, they weren't even thinking logically, they were just reacting emotionally. And so listing a Trump squeeze toy like this, the moment that they saw it, I could have charged them $30 for this, and they would have went ahead and purchased it just for the sheer fact of saying, I got a Trump squeeze toy. It was their emotion reacting. So that was a perfect example of something that I drop shipped in the past or listed for drop shipping in the past on Poshmark, that people would go ahead and just buy like that. They wouldn't even think twice about it. They wouldn't think about the price necessarily. Now, obviously, if you listed it super high, you have to play around with the price point there. You might struggle a little bit, but right here, this one's listed, it looks like for like $8.77. If I drop ship this on Poshmark for $19.99, I could probably make almost a $10 profit margin every single time someone bought it. And half the people that went ahead and saw this wouldn't even think twice about it. They would just go ahead and buy it. A, because they hate Trump, and it's that emotional reaction because people buy based on emotion, and then they use logic and reason to then justify their purchases afterward, but also kind of just for the notoriety to show their family and friends that also hate Trump or also might be Democrats that, hey, this is how much I hate Trump. This is how much how much of a Democrat I am. This is how much I care about politics right now. And this is not my worldview. I don't care either way, one way or the other. But just for the notoriety to show their family and friends that they have a Trump squeeze doll, right? Or a Trump squeeze toy. So this was a great example as well. The Game of Thrones was a great example. This was a great example. Even one more. So it's it's the end of summer almost. It's approaching like the middle to end of summer. And one of the things that's going to come up during Christmas time is Star Wars, right? The very last Star Wars movie ever is going to come out, Episode 9. So leading up to that time period, don't you think a great opportunity to dropship stuff would be Star Wars merchandise? So, if you list Star Wars merchandise, not Star Wars merchandise, you probably have a really great opportunity to dropship things that are Star Wars merchandise, because there's going to be a ridiculous amount of fanaticism going after Star Wars items, during Christmas time, because the movie's out then. So, hope you like this, this basically overview. There's a lot of great items to drop ship, but yeah, it's trial and error. But at the end of the day, if you think, about stuff ahead of time and you go after trending topics and trending items for that current period during the year, you're going to give yourself the best opportunity to sell items, because people are going to react emotionally and they're not even going to think about the price. All right, so now we want to talk about the importance of, a cashback credit card so that you can make more money with this business model, right? So there's 2 main ways to do it. Either you're going to use a debit card or a bank account, or you're going to use a credit card and cashback credit cards to make more money, because if you're purchasing it anyway, right, you might as well get cash back on every purchase. That might be the difference between like $200 to $500 extra, depending on how much you're purchasing, every single month cash back onto your card, right? So why would you not do that? Now, there's 2 types of people out there, right? There's the person that's not responsible with a credit card and not responsible with their numbers. Obviously, a portion of this course is going to be literally on knowing your numbers so that you're responsible. But for the majority of people out there that, aren't responsible with a credit card or don't feel comfortable with it, I would recommend not getting a credit card, okay? Don't get a credit card. I would be more comfortable with you just using a bank account, or, just, putting it on debit card and then using a debit card so that you know firsthand that you have money in your account, right? If you're not good with credit, you don't trust yourself, don't do it. Please don't do it. But for the other people out there that are responsible, do trust themselves and feel like, they can manage a credit card and pay it off with a profit every month, and they trust themselves not to spend the profit and not pay their card off. That's the majority of people out there, I would assume. The people that really want to scale this up and turn this into a business and make the most profit possible, then I would recommend going with a credit card, right? Because you're going to get cash back on all your Amazon purchases, and then you could turn that into a credit card. You turn that into whatever, form of cash back you want. And we're going to talk about 2 options for you that are the best, in my opinion, here in a second. And, on top of that, you're also using a card so you don't need the upfront capital, right? So you don't need to have thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars, depending on how many purchases you have, up front. Instead, you put it on a credit card, you earn the cash back slowly, and that starts to rack up, and then you pay the credit card off before the end of the month. You win because you make the profit. You also win because you get the cash back, and then your card's paid off, so it's improving your credit, right? So that's a great method and a great way to do it, but like I said, make sure you're responsible. If you're not, please don't do this. So the 2 best ways that I would recommend, and obviously you can use any card that you have now currently, but I would recommend doing a high yield, high return cashback credit card, right? Now, I recommend the Discover It card because it comes twofold, right? You get cash back on all your purchases, but then you can also click in your little settings once you sign up for the Discover It card. You can literally click in your settings to get double cashback rewards or sometimes triple cashback rewards on Amazon purchases, right? You're not going to find that many other places, so I highly recommend the Discover It card. Every time I make an Amazon purchase, when I do arbitrage, right? When I teach a lot of arbitrage, I get 2 or 3 times, depending on the month, cash back on all my Amazon purchases. And that racks up to hundreds of dollars cash back every single month that other people aren't getting because they're not using a card like this, right? So that can really 10x or, double or at least triple, obviously, all of your revenue and your profit at the end of the month. And obviously, I'm going to refer you here to my card because I do have a Discover It card, as you can see here. So it's a win-win for both of us. We both get a $50 statement credit. So I'm going to drop this link. If you're watching this on my website, this link will be above this video directly. You can go ahead and you can go through that link, sign up and apply for a Discover It card, and then get a $50 statement credit on your first statement. So that's literally already $50 cash back on top of the Amazon cashback that you potentially getting. I highly recommend this card. I use it myself, as you can see here, right? Now that said, it's going to help me, obviously. It's going to help me in my dropshipping business. It's going to help you in your dropshipping business as well, so we can both benefit each other. I'm not going to pitch this too hard, and I wasn't trying to turn this into like a sales pitch, but honestly, without even recommending it, it's one of the best options out there, right? So if you are on my website, like I said, that's directly above. If you're on Udemy, that will also be linked on the right in that little folder. That's like a Word document. You can open up the Word document and then go through that specific link to apply, right? And that'll give you $50 cash back. So the other option that a lot of people use, and I think the Discover It card's a lot better because you can get double or triple the points on Amazon purchases specifically, and I feel like they definitely did that to compete with the Amazon Store card. But if you're more comfortable just going with the Amazon Store card, you can go with the Amazon Store card immediately upon signing up. You get $40 Amazon gift card upon opening up, so that's great for beginners. On top of that, you get 5% Amazon.com cash back. Now, obviously, the Discover It card, when you elect those double and triple points, is going to be more cash back every single month that you're doing that. But this is a great way to, really kind of get into the business model while earning cash back, and you can get a $40 statement credit when you open up this. Now, I don't have an affiliate link for this, but, I will actually put this in that same Word document if you're on Udemy, and I'll also put that up in the same, there'll be 2 links. This will be the one right below the Discover It card. Now, both of those cards have no annual fees, so you don't have to worry about paying like fees or hidden fees like that. It's just very simple. You use it as a credit card, you earn cash back, and that's why I recommend, more than anything, if you're responsible with your credit, to use a credit card that gives you cash back on these purchases. Because like I said, I earn about another $200 to $500 every single month from purchasing items like this that I wouldn't have otherwise earned if I didn't use these cards. All right, so I'm going to take you through an example run through of a product that I would list on this, on Poshmark, and how to drop ship it from that actual listing. So I'm going to use Amazon Prime, but like I covered, you can use a number of different websites to do this. There are so many out there. The only things you need to keep in mind are free shipping and fast shipping to your door, so you can get it, repackage it back up, and ship it back out to the customer, right? So I'm going to go after bathing suits. I personally love bathing suits right now, currently, for this time period, for this time during the year, because right where I'm at, it's super hot out and it's summer. So I'm going to go after bathing suits, especially because I know too, there's a lot of women on the Poshmark platform. It's probably about 90% to 10% women compared to men. So I'm going to go after something that's trending right now during this time of the season and to the target market that's currently frequenting the app/website. So then I need a few different things, right? I need a good bathing suit because that's what I'm going to go after. I need a good women's bathing suit that has quality product pictures, that has a quality listing that I can copy from, and also has a low enough price, that's the key, that I can mark up for a profit. So what I basically did is I went ahead and found one. Now, the good thing about this is, like I said before, you can list, 100 of these different bathing suits at different margins and play around with it. It's trial and error and see what works. Now, one of the things you also want to keep in mind is you see the Amazon Choice badge in the reviews. Some people will go after, a bikini or something that doesn't have like barely any reviews. And there's nothing wrong with that necessarily. But that said, you do want happy customers and you do want quality listings. And that's just an indicator if it has a badge and it has customer reviews and happy customer reviews, if that it's a quality product and your customer is going to be happy and you can feel confident listing it. So that said, we're going to take this listing, we're going to list it on Poshmark ahead of time to then make money and make a profit on it, so that when people buy it from our Poshmark listing for a markup, we can then go ahead and buy it from Amazon to our door and make money doing so. So what I need to do now is I need to take all these pictures, and 90% of the time you can just right click and save the pictures, but it looks like I need to actually snip these out. So I'm going to use the snip tool for PC. I know there's one for Mac. I just don't remember what it's called. And I'm going to snip these pictures out and take them. And we're going to save them as, let's see, women's padded push-up. Let's go. Let's just, women's padded push-up blue bikini two-piece. Right? Because what we want to do is, a lot of people make the mistake of just saving it as like bikini or saving it as like picture one. And that's not what you want to do. What you want to do is you want to save your picture with a bunch of stuffed keywords. And then that way what that basically does is it indexes it for that metadata and gives Poshmark or whatever e-commerce platform, eBay, Mercari, eBay as well, or eBay, Mercari, and Amazon as well, some more information about what that listing actually is, so that they can then suggest it out to the right people. And for example, if somebody searches for like women's bikini blue, this might pop up higher in search results compared to other things, because it's also saved as the pictures, like 8 pictures are saved as that metadata in the actual product listing. Super underrated piece of tip here, but a lot of people for whatever reason don't implement it. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to save it as women's padded push-up bikini two-piece 1. Now I'm going to take the picture number 2, and we're going to save it as women's padded push-up blue bikini 2. Now we're going to take the picture number 3, and we're going to save it as three. And now, instead, what I would do is I would do this for every single picture, but I don't want to waste your time. So obviously you'd want this too for the sizing charts, because sometimes people ask you sizing questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this listing into Poshmark and list it. So we're going to take all the pictures. Now we're going to submit those pictures, okay? Now we want to add the title. So I'm going to use that same title that I tried to save the pictures as. So let's go grab those pictures. We'll go women's padded push-up blue bikini two-piece. And it looks like we have 6 more characters, so I could add something in there, but for the sake of saving your time and not wasting it trying to come up with 6 more characters to fit in there that read well, I'm going to just leave it blank. Now I'm going to take some of the actual product listing right here. And so we'll go to the swimwear right here. Now, one of the things you want to keep in mind too is Poshmark actually limits you on the characters in your description, so you can't actually have that much characters in your description. So just keep that in mind. This swimwear is suitable for swim, beach, vacation, honeymoon, go out, exercising, and I'm just going to end it there and say etc. And boom, there we go with our product listing. And now we're going to categorize it. So we're going to go women, swim, bikinis. Now we're going to list it as a multiple item too, because we don't have the actual inventory, so we can just list it as items in quantities of multiple, so that we don't really run out of inventory. So this is a small. So we're going to list it as small. And you can also, like, keep in mind too, you can add multiple sizes, right? So if you want to add a bunch of different sizes, you can add a bunch of different sizes. Just keep that in mind, because if you change sizes sometimes the price changes. So keep that in mind. Now I'm going to add it to my boutique and say tags are attached. Yes. I'm not going to add a brand because it's a private label brand, BMJL. I doubt that they would have that. BMJL, see? Now I'm going to select the color. What was that color? It is deep blue. Deep blue. So we're going to go blue. Now the fun part, the pricing. So now I need to list it at a markup that is I'm going to make money on, because I can't just list it a little bit above, because Poshmark's going to take their cut as well. So I probably can't list it at 25. I don't think I'd be profitable. I'd only make 20 bucks, which means I'd be losing $2 every single time. So if I listed this at like 29, which is actually a solid price point for a bikini on Poshmark if it sells well, so I'd be profitable at 29. I'm going to buy it for $21.99, and I'm going to sell it for, and I'm going to make $23.20 when I sell it for $29, but that's still not enough, in my opinion, of a profit margin. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to list this at 35 bucks. And then I would make $28. So every single time somebody purchased this, I would make $6.01 roughly, because Poshmark's going to take a $7 or is that it? Yeah, $7 cut on the margin. So the margin's still here if I list this at 35 bucks. And then, you know, I can make 28, but really when I order it, I'm going to end up netting $6 every single time someone orders it. And that's how you drop ship on the Poshmark platform within the terms of service. Then every single time somebody orders this from my listing, I'm going to come back, order this right here. And then when it comes to my house, I'm going to package it up in that padded flat rate envelope that I talked about with you guys. And that's how you do it, right? So then that's $6 every single time someone orders. Now, one more thing to keep in mind is you want to save the URL as the title of your actual listing, so that when you know, because this is a mistake that a lot of people make, that when somebody comes and buys from the women's padded push-up blue bikini two-piece, you know exactly what URL and product that is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save that URL as a shortcut, new shortcut. And I'm going to save the exact title as that shortcut as well, so that I know, and I'll put it in the folder, into the dropshipping folder. We're not on my e-commerce computer right now. So that I know that, hey, every single time somebody comes to this listing and buys the women's padded push-up blue bikini two-piece, I come to my folder and I go, oh, here's the women's padded push-up bikini two-piece. I want to buy this product. And that's how you dropship on the Poshmark platform and list items across platforms with no inventory. Let me take you through the entire business model, right? Before we get into exactly what I'm going to drop ship, which obviously here is bathing suits, because here where I am currently in PA, it's about 99 degrees out, and it is the heart of summer. So a lot of people are buying bathing suits, and obviously there's more women on Poshmark, so I'm going after women's bathing suits. So it's a trending item. It's perfect for this time of year, and I'm basically putting it to the target market that's actually on the platform willing to buy, because there's probably, I don't even know what the numbers are, but I'd say there's probably like 90% women to 10% men on the platform, if not more, okay? So that said, how are you going to be able to drop ship within the terms of service on the Poshmark platform specifically? Well, on the Poshmark platform specifically, how you drop ship within the terms of service is they have a specific clause in their terms of service that says you're not allowed to facilitate the sale from like a third-party site to a customer. So you can't basically list an item that you don't have and then have the website that you listed it from ship it to the customer. But they don't say anything about ordering it to you first and then shipping it to the customer while you listed it ahead of time. So that's exactly how you dropship, right? Because in Poshmark's terms of service, it says you have 3 days to initiate the shipment to the customer, right? 3 days. That means that if you order from a site like Walmart.com that has free shipping and ships to you in 2 days, boom, you can list their items ahead of time and then ship them out once you get them. Same thing with Amazon, where if you have Amazon Prime, it's free 2-day shipping, and it's free 1-day shipping a lot of times now, because they made a really big push to 1-day shipping. And then you get the added benefit of getting the free shipping, and it's very, very fast to your door. So you can then go ahead, like I'm going to show you here, and list, 10 things, 20 things, 100 things, 1,000 things for free, and then make the profit margin on literally every single one of them. It's trial and error, and it's no financial cost to you whatsoever. So to recap, before we actually jump into the example, right? You're going to list Amazon items for a markup Then when somebody buys them from you, you're going to order them from Amazon to your door within a day or two, package them up really fast. They're very, very easy. And then you're going to ship it out to the customer. Okay, so that's the business model in a nutshell. Now, so that you can maximize your profits on Poshmark, you don't want to be ordering, you don't want to have to buy boxes. You don't have to need shipping supplies. So if you go to USPS.com, because on Poshmark, everything is priority mail, you can get shipping supplies 100% free. So you can get boxes 100% for free. You go to Quick Tools, free boxes, and boom, they're all there for you. So if I sort this really fast, obviously you can go ahead and just order a bunch of them to your door. I have so many over there. I have like boxes of all shapes and sizes, and I also have padded flat rate envelopes, which are my favorite specifically. I'm trying to find them for you. Here they are right here. So you're getting a 9.5 inch by 12.5 inch by like 2-3 inches, because it can stretch a little bit, padded flat rate envelope. It's perfect for throwing things like this in there. And then literally all you do, you come to your house, you throw it in the envelope, in the padded envelope, close it up, and drop it into a post office bin, one of those blue things. So it's very, very easy to do. It's free shipping supplies, and that's what I suggest that you do. So what I'm going to do is, like I said before, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pre-list stuff on Poshmark that I don't already have yet, and then when somebody orders it, I'm going to make the markup in price. Now, if nobody orders it, it doesn't really matter that much because I can continue to list other things. There's no financial risk on me, but I know from firsthand experience that bathing suits sell well on Poshmark, especially right now in the summer. So what I need then is I need a high-quality looking bathing suit, right, with good product pictures and a good product listing that I can then copy and put it over on Poshmark, but it has to be cheap enough as well so that I can make a margin on it and mark it up on Poshmark to make money, right? So if this sells, I can't just mark it up a little bit. I have to mark it up enough so that when Poshmark takes their cut, we both make money. So I went ahead and searched through a little bit, and I went ahead and, you're going to have to play around with different, different price points and different items. Obviously, like I said initially, it's trial and error. But this is these are two decent ones that I thought that I could probably push. So let me take you through the process of actually uploading them. You'll see that they have good product pictures. This one's $21.99. This one has good product pictures. It's got a decent listing I can copy, obviously, and it's $16.99. So I feel like I can mark them up fairly easily. So what I would do then is let's take this first one as an example. If I can, I hate this. Some of them you can some of you can just copy, like you right-click save, and some of them they're going to play little games with you. You can't right-click save them. So what I need to do in this specific example, and usually you can just like literally right-click save, or it's really easy. But I'm going to make it. They're going to make me snip them out. So I guess I'll snip them out. This can take a little bit more time, but it's still super easy. So what I'm going to save this as is I'm going to go through before I actually save this. I'm going to come up with good keywords, because one of the things that a lot of people overlook is what they save their pictures as on e-commerce platforms, right? That adds more metadata and gives that specific platform more information on what that actual listing is so that they can suggest it and push it out to the right people so that when people type in the search bar, summer gray bathing suit, this pops up and not something else, right? So, or this pops up higher in search results. So I'm going to say like women's string 2-piece bathing suit, gray bathing suit, right? That's gray? Yeah, gray. So I'm going to save this as, to get the metadata, right? So women's string 2-piece bikini bathing suit, stuff full of keywords, gray. Or maybe gray bathing suit. That would work probably better. Bikini, gray bathing suit. Nope, let's put gray before that. So we'll go 2-piece. So there we go. Women's string 2-piece gray bikini bathing suit. And we're going to save it as 1. Save that as, boom. And now we're going to come back and we're going to take picture number 2, right? And we would do this for every single picture and just snip them out. So save this as number 2, right? And then we're going to do one more. I don't want to do them all to waste your time, but we're going to do one more. And we're going to grab this one. And the pictures are going to sell your listings more than anything else, guys. So make sure that you get the pictures right, and also make sure that you're saving it as metadata. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into Poshmark, and I'm going to upload these. And remember, I don't have this inventory ahead of time. So I'm going to take all these product pictures and just throw them in there. And boom. Now, obviously, I would do this for every single picture, right? So I'm not just going to leave all these other ones out. I'm going to add these as well if they're good product pictures. But, I'm not going to wait. I don't want to waste your time. So then I'm going to add the title in there. So what was it again? It was, whoops. Let's go, is that in downloads? No, it's in pictures. So women's string two-piece gray bikini bathing suit. Boom, and it fits perfectly. We only have one character left. So that's a great title, and now we have our product pictures. So now, and obviously you can do this so much faster if you're not like slowing it down to explain it to an audience, which you won't be doing. But so I can go through and list like, I don't even know, like 10 in 10 minutes. It's super, super easy to do. So I'm going to take this out. I'm going to go high quality material, features of the bikini, and one of the drawbacks of Poshmark actually is that they don't have enough. There's not that many characters available in your description, so you do have to play around with it to get the most bang for your buck. So I'm going to take high quality material here. I'll leave that actually, and I'm going to take features of the bikini, and then that's pretty good. We'll see if there's another little keyword to throw in there, maybe like suitable occasions. Or like summer. How about perfect for summer? Boom, done. Now we optimize our description, utilize all the characters, have some great keywords in there, while also people can read it and figure out exactly what's in there. I don't know what these are. It looks like maybe those are and signs. Yeah, we'll go 86% polyester, 14%. Where is it? Where's the percentage? Percent Alistine. Okay, so now we have that. Now we need to categorize it, right? So women. All right, so it's going to be in women, swim then, and then we're going to go with bikinis. Now we're going to go add multiple items because remember, I don't have this, so I can just list multiple items. And then what I'm going to do, so I'm going to list it as like, what was the size again? It was, so small fits 4 to 6. Small, we'll just list it as a small. And then I'm going to list like 5 of them. And what will happen is if, for whatever reason, I run out of stock, I'll just increase the quantity again because I don't have, the person right here has the quantity and I don't have it, right? And then I'm going to add it to my boutique. And I'm going to save, not going to save it as a brand because it's a private label brand, and it is indeed gray. Now the fun part. Now we need to focus on the pricing. So how can we make an up sale in the pricing? Now the great thing about listing products on Poshmark is they're going to tell you exactly what your earnings are if that sells, and they're going to tell you what their cut is. So I can't list it at $16.99. I can't even list it at $17.99 because Poshmark's going to take their cut. I probably can't even list it at $19.99 because I'll still be, if we just list it at $20, I'll still be under. So I only earn $16. So I need to list it over at $20 because Poshmark's going to take a $4 cut at that listing, and then I'm negative. So I need to list it, maybe let's try, $25. And then I would make $20, right? So every time someone came and bought this, it would be a $3 margin. Now what I could do is I could list this as $29, which is probably more realistic for me. And then I would make $23.20 every single time someone bought this, with the ability to make offers to likers every once in a while to make some more money, and I have a little bit of wiggle room. And then I would go ahead and I would list this. So that's number one. That's how you drop ship on the platform. And then every single time somebody bought this, right, I would go ahead and make, what is that, $23.20? So I'd go ahead and make about $6.20 or $6.21 every single time someone bought this. So that's how you dropship on Poshmark. That's how you implement it. Now, don't forget to save the actual URL. A lot of people do this and then they'll be like, oh, someone bought for my listing and I have 100 listings. I don't remember what exact product it is. That's a problem. Don't do that. So what you want to do, and we're not actually on my e-commerce computer, but I would do this if I could. So we're going to go to new folder and I'm going to make this, so we're going to say like Poshmark DS listings. And I'm going to save them all in here so that I know exactly what items are which, okay? So I'm going to save a shortcut to this URL, and I'm going to save it as the exact title, so I didn't X out of it yet, as the exact title that the listing is, so that I know when somebody comes through and they buy the women's string 2-piece gray bikini bathing suit, well, then obviously I would go ahead and purchase from the URL that says women's string 2-piece gray bikini bathing suit. I'm gonna throw it all in the same folder, and then I'm gonna just build this folder up so that I can come in and know exactly where those URLs are at that current time period. Now, one of the other questions I get is how do I focus on, How do I keep track of the price changes? Well, a lot of the prices won't change, believe it or not. But what I do every once in a while is once or twice, like maybe like once a week, I'll go through and I'll check the listing prices to see if they all still check out and to see if they're all still profitable. That said, even if I skip a week or something or I overlook one, it's not like eBay or Amazon, right? On eBay or Amazon, if you list something and then you cancel orders and after a customer makes a sale, they penalize you hard, right? You'll need to do that like once or twice or maybe 3 times, and then you're going to get a suspension because they don't like that. On Poshmark, it's not like that. They don't crucify you for canceling an order from time to time. If you're selling like 10 orders a week, and even if you're selling like 50 orders a week, but 10's a relatively low number, if you're selling like 5 orders a week even, and you cancel one of them every once in a while, they're not going to penalize you for it as long as you have decent seller metrics, right? So it's not like Amazon, it's not like eBay, where you're going to get crucified for canceling orders. It's okay every once in a while. So to answer that question specifically in 2 different ways, I usually go through that folder and check my prices against my listings maybe once a week on a Sunday when I'm bored. But even if you don't and you overlook it, you can cancel the order and then you'll find out that way. And then once you cancel the order, you just up your price again, right? So that's how you handle that. That's Poshmark dropshipping in a nutshell. And that's how you dropship within the terms of service on Poshmark to make more money with less inventory, and actually not even any inventory at all, not even less inventory. The only issue with it is it took a while to list, right? Because you couldn't necessarily, it's not like eBay where there's a lot of softwares out there that will just scan Amazon and take like hundreds or thousands of listings and post them all to eBay, and you can just, mark the price up super, super quickly, right? That's what made eBay dropshipping so effective and so efficient, was because there were so many softwares out there that would literally just automate the entire process for you, and you could list so many listings so fast, and it was just a numbers game, right? There's nothing like that for Poshmark. It does work very, very well, but then you have to spend the time and do the legwork ahead of time to actually list, right? And one of the issues in the past was it took a while to list things, right? The first and probably the main thing that you have to do that takes the most time is copy the pictures, okay? So for this specifically, what I used to recommend is you go into the picture, you right click, you save the image as, and you literally type out like all the keywords so that it saves it as the metadata, right? And then you save it, okay? So that's what I used to recommend to people. But then you have to do that for 8 different pictures, and that doesn't take too long. But even if it takes you 2 to 3 minutes per listing, you can only do so many in a row within like the hour, and you're not really getting that much done, right? Another problem that you see, especially because I recommend doing this on Poshmark the way that I'm about to show you, is obviously doing clothing. But an issue with the clothing is when you go to save the picture, you can't actually click on, not every single clothing listing, but most clothing listings, you can't actually click on that, right? So what you used to have to do is you used to have to come and take a screenshot of the actual picture, a lot like this, and it's going to get my little camera here in the way, but just to kind of show you really fast. And you used to have to take a screenshot and then come in and save it as all the keywords, right? And so you literally had to do that for every single picture, and it took like 5 minutes to list a clothing listing onto Poshmark for dropshipping, right? But now there's actually, I was looking for these for a while, and a lot of the ones in the past that I found extension-wise would compress all the images super quickly, which is great. That's what we're looking for. But then the quality of the pictures wouldn't be that good, and there's a number of them out there that do that. But this one right here works perfectly. It's called Amazon Image Downloader, and it's 100% free. And literally all you do right here when you're on the listing, I'll show you how to actually list this from Amazon to Poshmark here in a second, and why it's so effective and how I go about doing it. But this tool is a complete game changer for this because it saves you so much time. You don't have to manually go in and save all the pictures, and it saves all the pictures with their metadata and the exact title, right? So you're on the listing, you literally click it right there, you click download the current tab, and it's gonna take you over here. Now, if there's a bunch of different variations, you'll see it pop up with a bunch of different variations. Just find the right variation for your specific size that you're looking for, the color, whatever it is, right? The condition, the variation, etc. So there it is. All of those pictures are right here, and I can just download them all. And you'll see down here, it saves it as the specific keywords, 2-pack, scalp brush, blah, blah, blah. I think I was right here. So download this one, download this one, download this one. And it makes downloading the pictures so much faster. And you might think right off the bat, like that doesn't seem like that big of a deal. But when it's a numbers game and you're doing it and you're trying to list like 100 or 1,000 drop shipping listings within the week, right? So that you can obviously get this business up and running. Those minute details of like saving 2 to 3 minutes per listing are going to make a massive difference and let you, list a lot faster and get more listings up, right? So then it becomes easy to list because now we have all the pictures. We can simply just copy and paste the pictures in there. It saves them in folders sometimes it just goes directly to your downloads, but you get the picture. And you just want to make sure that the first one is in there, and then look, it copied all the pictures for me super easily, okay? All right, so now the fun stuff. I'm gonna teach you how to automate your Poshmark closet to make more sales, share more things, and auto follow, all that good stuff to get more eyes on your listings so you can make more money. Now, there's a majority of ways to use the automation tool that I'm going to show you. But to find the automation tool, all you really do is you go to Google Chrome Store. It's a Chrome app, and then we're going to go to the store, and you type in Simple Posher. And that's the title of the app, right? And you notice here that I have it already up here. It's $9.99 a month, but you can get a 7-day free trial for the app. And you can, if you really don't want to spend $9.99 a month, you can just keep cycling through free trials. The only thing that you need is you need a different Google, different Google sign-in. So you can keep cycling through different Google sign-ins if you want to every 7 days. Or you can just buy it for $9.99 a month. You should be making $9.99 pretty much daily, if not more than a day, once you start retail dropshipping like this seriously enough. So $9.99 a month is super cheap. So it's still worth it, right? Because automation is going to do everything that you need to do to sell without you having to actually spend your time to do it, right? So $9.99 a month is a complete steal, but if you want to just, like I said, cycle through the trials, more power to you. So this is what the app actually looks like once you install it on your Google Chrome browser. Now, I have literally just started using this week, and it's been a revelation for me. So before this, I used the Poshmark Auto Share Bot. Now I use Simple Posher, and I'm still on the trial version, and it works great. But if you watch nothing else, the best way to sell more items, depending on what you're listing, is find a party that is very similar to what you're listing, right? So if you're listing a bunch of kids items, guess what? You should find a kids party. If you're listing a bunch of men's items, guess what? You should find a men's party. If you're listing a bunch of women's items, well, then you're in luck because a majority of those women's items, all the parties pretty much are women's parties that are outside of men's and kids parties, right? So the whole idea behind that is you want to share to the top of your closet the items of the party that you're going to, right? So if you list a bunch of bags, well, you probably want to share items out of the bags party. And the reason being, let me just show you. So if you share and you organize your Poshmark closet to have your bags at the top of your closet, right? Then you're going to turn on the automation to share from the party. And I'm going to go into this in a second. So if you're starting to auto share from the party, well, guess what? People that listed bags are probably more inclined to buy other bags in the future, right? And they're going to be more inclined and interested in bags that you have in your closet. So if you're trying to drop ship bags, you should go to the bags party and share items out of the bags party. That's going to bring traffic and potential eyes and potential customers to your closet because on Poshmark, it's like kind of share for share. So if you share somebody's item, the majority of people will share yours back. So by sharing their item, they're going to get a little red notification up in the right, come to your closet to potentially share your item back, and then potentially see a bag that they want to potentially purchase. And that's how you, in a nutshell, without getting too into it, that's the best way to really get more eyes on your content on the Poshmark app, right? So let's go back to a different example. Let's say that you're dropshipping men's clothes specifically, right? So you want to find a men's party, probably the most recent men's party, and what you're going to do is you're going to set up your automation to share from the men's party, right? Now, the very first thing that you need to know about the automation tool with Simple Posher is that you want to appear as a human being and not like an automation tool, right? So you don't want to go like 1 minute or 1 second maximum, right? And you definitely don't want to go like, too low. You want to have a wide variety because you want to do this consistently over time. And you want to make it, a variety of different seconds. So it's sharing at random times, right? So when I'm doing this personally, I'd probably go like 5 seconds to maybe like 21 or 22 seconds. And that's going to in between 5 seconds and 22 seconds to share an item from this party. And it's just going to continue to do that until I tell it to stop or it hits the limit that I've set, right? Pretty self-explanatory. Now, to show you, I'm going to go 3 seconds and like 12 seconds, but just for the sake of showing you how to actually do this, right? But I wouldn't do it this short, because eventually if you keep sharing over and over and over again at that fast of a rate, chances are you're going to get auto-captioned, which if you don't know what auto-captcha is, it's not that big of a deal. It just basically means that you've ticked off the algorithm for Poshmark, and they know that, or they suspect that you're using software. Now, if that happens, they have an auto-captcha system built into Simple Posture, which is good for you. So what will happen is it will automatically stop sharing anything or doing whatever you've set it to do, and a thing will pop up on your screen that says, yes, I'm a human being, and you click the yes, I'm a human being. Now, if you happen to go about your business or your day and you come back, it's fine because it's stopped, and then you just click yes, I'm a human being, and then I would wait maybe like 5 to 10 minutes to start doing it again. But if you're setting your numbers like conservatively to like maybe like 6 to 25 seconds, well, then you probably won't get too many auto captchas because you're conservative. But a lot of people scale it up and they try to ramp it up, and they're like 2 to 8 seconds, and they set it on like 1,000 listings, and guess what? You're probably going to get auto captured eventually. So be conservative with it, but just for the sake of showing you, I'm going to go like 3 to 13 seconds, and we'll do like 50 items really fast. Now, you want to click randomize sharing order, and that's pretty much all you need to do. If you're in a party, you hit randomize sharing order, and then you start it. And now you can just sit back and go about your life and scroll Instagram or go out and do whatever you want to do. And the Simple Posture is going to share items from the closet or share items from the party for you, right? Now, how's that going to help automate and make more sales for you, right? Because every single person that's behind these listings, guess what? They have men's clothes. They've listed men's clothes. So they're either a man or they know men, or maybe have like a boyfriend or a husband. So they're more inclined to, if they've listed a man's clothing item and you're selling men's or dropshipping men's clothing, right? They're your target customers. You want to get their eyes on your closet so they can potentially buy. This is how you do it, by sharing their stuff out of the party. And you don't have to do it. In the past, if we stop this really fast, clear the console. In the past, what I would teach before I knew about like a good automation tool, I would literally teach just going in and manually sharing. But the issue with that is that takes a lot of your time, and it's going to drive you insane, because to get any real amount of sharing, you have to sit here and just do it over and over and over and over and over again yourself. And nobody in their right mind can sit there and just do this all day long. You'll see I'm already starting to get notifications and shares back. See, all these people, this person saw and they started to share my item back. Same with this person, right? So that's basically how you do it. Just to kind of show you a recap really fast. We're back in the party. We're going to list it. Let's go to like, 5 to like 21 now. And I'm just going to leave this up. And maybe like 100 listings, and then it's going to stop at 100 listings, and it's going to share those listings in between clips of like 5 and 21 seconds randomly. Boom, start. And now I'm going to go maybe have some lunch, right? And then it's just going to share 100 listings from this party, and it's going to bring a potential 100 eyes and a potential 100 customers to potentially buy my dropshipping listings. And that's how you're going to use it to make more money, by automating your closet with this app and selling more dropshipping listings on Poshmark. All right, so now it's time to scale it up, right? We need to ask ourselves with any business model, proof of concept, scalability, right? So I proved the concept. I showed you the entire business model in a nutshell. We're going to get into some more advanced stuff here in a second, and how you can scale up with, multiple things, automation on your Poshmark closet and all that other stuff, all that other jazz. But we're really briefly, I want to talk about the having fun with the numbers, and really kind of asking yourself whether it's this business model specifically, as the retail dropshipping, or really any business model. How do you scale? Have fun with it. Inspire yourself with some potential numbers and some potential revenue, right? Because if you're just sitting there and you list 5 things, you might be asking yourself, man, I don't feel like listing like 200 to 500 items, and that's a lot of listings. Trust me, you might want to start with like 5 a day or like 10 a day. But what I'm trying to say is, you're not going to be inspired to do that unless you understand your why, unless you understand the potential and the potential scalability of, making that kind of money, and why you need to list more items, right? So to put simply and just jump in, the biggest way and the easiest way to scale this is by listing more items, right? You'll notice winning listings. Let's say you list like 50 things, or you list like 20 things, right? You'll start to notice, and you can track this better on Mercari. You can actually see the views and the likes on Mercari, and when you open up the app or the website, right? Now on Poshmark, you can't specifically see the views, but you can see the likes and the shares and everything like that. So they're a little bit different tracking systems on each. But you'll start to notice winning listings, right? Things that people buy, some listings that people buy, and also listings that people see a lot more and have visibility on the platforms, right? And you'll also notice listings that don't really get any traction, and that's fine. With the listings that don't get any traction, guess what you should probably do? You either leave them up there because they potentially earn you a sale, why wouldn't you? Or you can simply delete them so that people can see other listings, whatever you want to do. But like I said, you list more items, then you'll see what items tend to have better visibility and better responses on each platform, and what items sell more. And you probably need a good month to 2 months to kind of test a bunch of listings out. Don't just jump the gun and be like, nobody saw this listing in 2 days, I guess it's a dud. No, you got to give it a little bit of time, give it some traction to rank on the platform, and see with an extended period of time, maybe a couple weeks to a month, if it's actually hitting or if it's a dud, right? And then what you want to do is, let's say hypothetically you list like a travel inflatable pillow like we went through on Mercari, right? Or on Poshmark or whatever. And you happen to notice that that item's getting a lot of sales or getting a lot of traction. Well, what do? A, you're very happy because you know that you have a great listing, and obviously you don't have a max on your inventory because you can just keep ordering more. And you also know that, okay, travel inflatable pillows seem to sell pretty well on Mercari, or maybe, it's like dresses on Poshmark, whatever. You're going to see different trends in what works and what doesn't. And the only way that you do that is listing more items, right? So once you see different trends in what works, guess what? Replicate more of that. So if travel inflatable pillows work on Mercari, list more travel inflatable pillows. They might be very, very similar, but different, listings, right? List more of what works. On Poshmark, for example, if you see that a lot of your dresses are selling for a certain listing, guess what you should do? You're right. You jumped ahead with it in your mind already. You should list more dresses, right? Different dresses, but very, very similar. So that's how you scale up. You want to list more items. The best way to scale is list more items and then see what works and replicate that. So to play around with some numbers and give you some inspiration, this is what I do personally. So if you know on average, and you're going to need to list a bunch of things and see your numbers and see what works with like an extended period of time, like I said, right? Give yourself like a month to actually see. So maybe you find out that you're averaging about $5 per profit per month per listing, right? So $5 per listing in profit a month. So maybe that's what you're averaging. I don't know how many you listed, right? Well, then you need to ask yourself, okay, what's the scalability of this? Okay, so I'm averaging about $5 per listing in profit. How many listings do I have to do? How many listings do I need to list to make it $1,000 a month with this method? How many listings do I need to list to make $2,000 a month with this method, right? Maybe you find that you're only making $1 per listing in profit a month. Well, then you need to reevaluate, what products you're listing, because clearly there aren't ones that are working very well, and you need to list more of what's winning, like I said, and what has been proven to sell, and then maybe that improves the next month, and you're earning like $10 per listing in profit, right? Then you need to ask yourself, okay, how many listings do I need to make this month or get to total to make 1K a month? How about 2K? How about 10K a month, right? And that's how you inspire yourself to list 500 to 1,000 items on these potential platforms, because you're going to know that if you do so, you will make multiple thousands of dollars a month. It's just a numbers game at that point, right? So let's say you have pretty good listings and you're earning $20 per month in profit, right? Same thing, right? Okay, how many listings do you need to make $1,000 a month? Well, let's pull up the calculator. So let's say you're earning about $20,000 or $20,000 a month, $20 in profit per listing per month, right? Well, to make $1,000, how many listings do you have to list to make that? Only 50. That's pretty good, right? Now, let's say you want to make, 10K a month, right? So let's say you're making a more realistic number is $5 in profit per listing per month, right? So let's say you want to make $5,000 in a month, right? And you're making about $5 in profit. Well, guess what? You got to list 1,000 things. But if I told you you're going to get paid next month you're going to get paid next month $5,000 if you list 1,000 things, you're going to be much more inspired to do so. Maybe you break that apart. How many listings is that a day, right? So 1,000 listings total divided by like 30 days in the month. Well, you got to list 33 items a day, which is kind of a lot, but you can probably do that in like an hour or two. And if I were to tell you could spend an hour or two a day listing products like this up on sites, and then you can make $5,000 your next month, you'd probably do it, right? So it's a numbers game at that point. You got to inspire yourself, but you're going to need a month or two to really see initially what works for you, so you can replicate what works, kind of do away with what doesn't work, and then you're going to know your numbers so you know how to scale. All right, so I want to introduce you to a website that you can utilize to basically do product research on a number of different marketplaces, and that is sellhound.com. So, sellhound.com, like you see me typing in right here. Now, how do you utilize this website? What can you use it for? Well, first and foremost, you can utilize it as a buyer, which obviously helps you out. So if you're ever interested in, basically buying something, and you have keywords for it, for example, PS4 controller, well, instead of actually physically going to Amazon and physically going to eBay and physically going to Walmart and physically going to Google and seeing what all the competition offers, you can simply just type PS4 controller and then fetch that into the Sellhound search, right? And it's going to pop up with all the different things and places that you can basically find this and what their average selling prices are. So you'll see here currently, and you have to be careful when you're typing in keywords like PS4 controller, because it could just obviously hit on PS4, and then you'll see that some of the listings probably are PS4. So that's just an example of how you can utilize it. Obviously, it's going to depend on the keywords that you use and the specific products that you're searching for. So these are clearly PS4s right here. They're not PS4 controllers, although this one looks like it comes with a controller. So that's why the average price is currently listed a lot higher. Now, it looks like on Etsy, they're currently listing PS4 type of stuff for about $12.33, excuse me, so you could do a little bit of research there. And on eBay, it looks like they're currently listed at an average price of about $36.32. So you can utilize this to your advantage and basically open up a bunch of different listings and see where they're listed for, what they're actually listed at and for, and then you can look and do a little bit of product research if you're buying and see what all the people on all the different marketplaces across platforms are listing these items for, so that you can either buy it very cheaply or find the cheapest item. Or on the other hand, on the contrary, if you plan on selling these, one of the lectures that I talk about in this course is, basically offering more listing value than your competitors. Well, how do you do competitor research besides going to all those individual platforms and then basically, figuring out what your competitors are selling for? Well, you can use Sellhound to do a little product research and see, okay, most people are selling this roughly about $30. Sometimes they sell for like 23 or whatever. I'm making numbers up, but you obviously get the picture. And it's going to depend on whatever product you search for. And then you can figure, okay, well, if most people are selling this for 30, I'm going to list it at 28, so I offer more product value because my cost is cheaper. It's also a brand new item, and then clearly somebody eventually will buy it because buyers are smart and they're going to spend the time to do their product research, right? So you don't have to go to all the individual websites. You can just use a site like Sellhound, and then basically that will run it across platforms and do all your product research for you. So very helpful website. Hope you utilize it to your advantage. So believe it or not, you don't just have to source inventory ahead of time with Facebook Marketplace, right? You can actually drop ship on the marketplace as well. And I'm going to show you how to do that here in a second. Now, there are two main ways to drop ship on Facebook Marketplace. One is to facilitate the sale from another seller on a different website and have them ship it to the customer. I don't recommend doing that for a number of reasons, because ultimately it's only going to result in your account being suspended, you getting in trouble and not being able to sell on Facebook Marketplace anymore. And companies like Facebook, eBay, Amazon don't like it, right? And the second way is to actually order the products to your house, your apartment, or your location after you obviously get the sale and you've already solidified your profit, okay? And this is fully within the terms of service, so that's what I'm going to show you here in this tutorial. So how can you actually go ahead and dropship on Facebook Marketplace? Well, it's kind of a hybrid between dropshipping and arbitrage, right? So typically what I said before is people would tell you to list something from eBay, for example, right? And then list it on Facebook Marketplace for a higher price. And then when somebody buys it from you, you order it from eBay to the actual buyer, right? Then you just have to front the money and you make the difference in profit, and they get their item, but they get it at a higher price. And hopefully they don't obviously realize that, right? I don't recommend doing it that way. What I do recommend doing, though, is listing it from places like Amazon or Walmart, where the shipping time to you is very, very fast, 1 or 2 days max, right? Sometimes 3, and you can kind of get away with that, although I would say 1 or 2 days max is probably ideal, right? So that's why Amazon is, if you have Amazon Prime, is perfect for this, okay? And what I would say is, this is going to be the example one that we list right here. What I would say is you list these items from Amazon or from Walmart, places with fast shipping, and then you list them on Facebook Marketplace. And when somebody orders that from Facebook Marketplace, then you wait to ship it out on Facebook Marketplace and mark it as shipped for like a day. You order it immediately, and I'm going to show you this how I kind of orchestrate this and organize it. So it's very, very simple here in a second. and then you order it to your house and then you ship it out. It works very, very well. There's no risk on your part because you don't have to actually go out and spend and front the money for inventory until you're guaranteed the sale and the profit, right? But also it's within the terms of service of the website, in this case, Facebook Marketplace, and you don't have to ever worry about going against the terms of service because you're not facilitating the sale from another seller to a buyer on here, right? You are going to be the seller. You're going to actually have the product, at your house that you're shipping out to them, but you're waiting to get that product up until you get the sale, right? So it's kind of a hybrid system between drop shipping and arbitrage, but it works very, very well. And it's also perfect for beginners if you don't have a lot of money, but you have a lot of time, because you either have time or money. And if you have a lot of time, this is a perfect way to start making money reselling online, with practically no risk and not much money needed at all, right? And then you can kind of build up an initial nest egg and then spend it on a more scalable reselling business that you can obviously make good money with, right? You can make good money doing this as well, but it's just a little bit more labor intensive because I've seen testing this out that you do constantly have to list to constantly get sales. So keep that in mind, right? You can make good money here, but again, this is kind of more like the side hustle, side hobby type of thing, more so than the full-time income, which would be like maybe like books or wholesale or something with software like that, like an online arbitrage, like a tactical arbitrage or a source mogul, okay? So let's go through the tutorial now. It's key and crucial here. This is a bad example of one, but it's just one that I kind of wanted to list for fun because I saw it and I thought it was cool. But typically speaking, when you're doing this, you're going to want to go after listings that are very, very reputable, have a lot of ratings, and are clearly kind of set on the actual Amazon Marketplace or Walmart. But that's why I recommend Amazon, because you can kind of see those a little bit better, right? I've listed a lot of clothing, so let me show you an example of let's go after blouse, or maybe not blouse. So perfect example of this right here would be this one right here is $22.99. So I could list this on Facebook Marketplace maybe for $35. And then it's no risk on me because I'm just spending the 2 minutes to list it. And then if somebody buys it, I'm guaranteed the difference in profit because I would get $35, but I only have to spend 23 to get it to my door and then ship it out, obviously, right? And I would charge them for shipping, although you can obviously decide to offer free shipping if you want to go that route, right? So typically this is a good listing right here, because you know that it has a lot of ratings. So it's not necessarily going away anytime soon because the seller's entire incentive here is to keep this listing going on on Amazon, right? Because it's making them money, right? You also know that typically the price is going to stay pretty steady if it's a listing like this because it's already ranked. And so that's why I recommend, especially when you're starting, to go after listings that are highly rated and already ranked on the platform. And this is already ranked because I literally just searched for this and it popped up almost first, right? So that's what I'd recommend that you list first. It doesn't have to be closed, but literally anything like that with a lot of ratings that's already ranked that you can kind of rely on. You know that the price isn't really going to change much, and it won't go out of stock very often, if at all, okay? But just for an example, let me list this one here. And we're actually going to take this listing on Amazon and list it on Facebook Marketplace. And I'll show you exactly how I'd go through that process to drop ship it within my own reselling business, right? So here we are on Facebook Marketplace right here, and we're in the middle marketplace here, and we're going to go to create a new listing. We're going to go item for sale. And the first thing that I like to do is grab the pictures because that's the most labor intensive part of this. It's very, very easy, but it's the hardest part, which is kind of funny. So we're going to get avocado slicer tool 3-in-1. We're going to say 3-in-1 avocado slicer tool, multifunctional. And we're going to save it like that. And I'm going to save these backwards because for whatever reason, my computer categorizes them backwards in my downloads folder. And I haven't, for whatever reason, been able to figure out how to get rid of that. So we're going to go 3-in-1 avocado slicer tool, multifunctional kitchen accessory. And I literally just made that up. You can come up with a better one, but I just made that up there. And what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to save every single picture on this listing as something like that. So it saves the keywords in the metadata of the pictures and helps rank you higher on the Facebook Marketplace platform, right? So I'm going to save this image right here as number 2. And we're just going to go down and save all of these really fast. 3, 4. And you might not be fast at this in the beginning, but eventually you'll get faster and faster, and you'll be able to crank them out in a minute or two. And I'm also going to talk about another marketplace that you can do this on as well, where you can literally do this on the same marketplace at the same time while you're doing this and get double bang for your buck. But we're going to cover that later, one thing at a time. And the last one right here, 9, and then we're going to X out of this, okay? And now we have the photos that we're going to list on Facebook Marketplace. So let's copy them all in there. And I don't know if I still have the title. Oh, I do. Okay, so it's going to be 3-in-1 avocado slicer tool multifunctional kitchen accessory with all the pictures. Pretty solid listing, right? Because the pictures are literally what's going to sell the listing, not just on Facebook Marketplace, but on pretty much any platform, okay? Price is $3.99. So if it stays at $3.99, which we can pretty much assume it will, not always, sometimes you'll see it goes up, sometimes you'll see it goes down, but typically if you follow what I recommended and you go after something that's highly rated and highly ranked, the price rarely changes and it rarely, if ever, goes out of stock. So, excuse me, we're going to say available quantity 5. I wouldn't go like too crazy here. If you constantly come in and you list like available quantities like super high, eventually, I've never seen it personally, but I would assume like it's going to look a little shady. So I would say probably don't do that. So let's just go like 3 or 5. You can always add quantity later on platforms if it's on this one or other places. The price per item, we're going to say like 15. I don't think that's that crazy to ask for 15 for an avocado slicer. This is still in the realm of that's a little high. You could ask for 10 if you wanted to and take a little bit of a smaller cut. But this is still within the realm of like a gut shot, right? Or like an impulse buy. So people, as long as it's within like 5 to like 25 to 35 bucks, a lot of times people aren't necessarily thinking or price shopping a lot of times. And that's why drop shipping like this works so well. So they're really making an impulse buy. They see it, they think it's cool, they want it, they click purchase as long as it's within that price range most of the time with most people, okay? Category, we'll go after like kitchen accessories. We'll just say kitchen knives for the sake of showing you and not wasting your time for this demo, but obviously I'd find a better category. It's new. We don't have a brand. You can make it black or green or whatever you want with the color. And then the description, I'm literally going to take the description here and make sure, especially if you're listing on Amazon, like sometimes the last ones will say like guaranteed return or, money back guarantee or something like that, right? So like satisfaction pre and after sales. I don't want to take that because I obviously don't want to offer that to customers. So make sure you don't copy that. And then the most important part of this is one of the things that I do, and you'll see this is an example right here with just PDS in my folder. And I actually have a bunch on my desktop as well. I kind of stopped doing it on my laptop here, but you'll see like the last one I did here is 36, right? So these are all drop shipping listings that I have. So I know that if for whatever reason I list this and somebody buys this, I go to my description and I see what number that is. And then I go back to my folder, I literally buy that number, and it's a very easy way to manage my drop shipping inventory so I'm not confused. Okay, so I'm going to say, what was it, 37, I think? Yeah, 37 is what we're on. So I'm going to put 37 at the bottom of the description. And then when somebody buys this, I can literally come down and be like, oh, it's number 37. And I come to my folder and buy the number 37 and then organize it that way. And it makes it very, very simple, okay? Now, product tags, I'm just going to make a couple to wait so I don't waste your time, but avocado slicer, avocado knife, and just avocado. Can't spell this morning. I'm just going to have 3 here, but obviously I'm just doing that for the sake of the demo right here and not to waste your time. I'd recommend coming up with as many good ones as you possibly can, but at least 5, okay? Ideally, the sweet spot is obviously the more the better, especially on Facebook Marketplace where you're not really competing with a lot of tags now. And I've also noticed that like very good brands do well, so put them in the tags. Perfect example of this is DeWalt. I had like a DeWalt tool and it got like immediately like 500 views and it's still going. So the tags and the brands work very, very well on this, at least I've seen. But for the sake of showing you here, I'm just going to leave 3, okay? We're going to move me over here so I can show you this. And another thing here is a lot of people kind of don't want to do this because they don't want to be posting listings constantly to their friends and the people that they're friends with on Facebook, which I guess is the same thing. So if you don't want to do that, just click this tab over and it will hide it from your friends so that it posts it to the Facebook Marketplace, but it doesn't post it to the people that follow you or that you're friends with on Facebook and they don't see that, right? And now we're going to hit next and we're going to go shipping only because this is a drop shipping listing. If you're listing something else where you do want to offer, pickup or local meetup, you can also do that. You can also offer this local meetup if you want to on dropshipping listings. I don't like to do that, so I'm not going to do that. And this is typically where you'll see other dropshippers say, use your own shipping label so that you can order it from somebody else to them. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say use my own prepaid shipping label, and I'm going to charge the buyer per the shipping. This is a very light item. It's just an avocado slicer. Now, this is another thing that I like to recommend to people. I don't recommend to get crazy. So if you're listing like something that's super heavy, don't say it's under 5 pounds or light, obviously. But typically, in my experience, you can slightly underreport something to save a little bit. And I haven't seen any repercussions from that. And typically, it works very well for me. Now, that's just my personal opinion. That's my anecdotal experience. You can test it out, see if it works for you. But that's what I like to do, and that's what works for me. But obviously, in this specific case, this is exactly what that is. It's very, very light. And estimate, right? You don't need the exact kind of measurements and weight here, okay? And if you do want to offer free shipping and take a little bit of a hit here, you can. It's going to tell you the estimated payment here. So I'm making $14.06 if somebody buys this, and clearly I'm only paying $4 right there. So that's like a $10 profit margin. If I did want to offer free shipping, well, then I would only make $10 and I would still be spending $4, so then it'd be a $6 profit margin. You can make that call yourself. I'm not going to do that. I've been testing different ways, like offering free shipping on a number of marketplaces and offering shipping. I used to tell people to offer free shipping. Now I'm leaning more towards charging for shipping. I haven't really noticed too many differences in sales velocity on different marketplaces. And it seems to be like my sales are still very, very similar, regardless if I offer free shipping or not. So in that specific aspect, I would say you might as well take the extra profit if it doesn't seem to hurt your sales as much. But again, this is just my experience and what works for me. It's just what I recommend to most people, okay? And then you hit next, and you're going to be able to list it. Now, if you're a member of these groups, you can also list it to a number of other yard sales and like online buyer groups and stuff like that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not a member of them. And then you hit publish. And that's how you drop ship on Facebook Marketplace within the terms of service like I recommend. So as we've covered in other videos, you don't want to drop ship on platforms like eBay, Amazon, or Mercari, right? Because it's really tough to, stay drop shipping on there within the terms of service long term and keep your account up and not get suspended, right? But we've covered specific marketplaces where you can get away with retail drop shipping if you list ahead of time and then get the products, and order them afterward to your house or your location and then ship them out. It's kind of a mix between arbitrage and drop shipping, and it gives you the benefit of being able to list those products ahead of time and acquire the sale and the profit before you ever even need to spend any money on inventory or store it or anything like that, right? So it works on sites like Poshmark as well as Facebook Marketplace, which is another place that you can also drop ship like this. Same overall strategy, just on a different marketplace. And today I want to cover doing that literally the same strategy on OfferUp. Now, full disclosure, OfferUp is not the best marketplace out there, right? It is up and coming. It looks promising. There's a lot of opportunity on it, and I've been testing it a lot lately and seeing that there's promise there, right? And you can make drop shipping sales, and you can also use OfferUp in a number of ways to sell items that you already have arbitrage-wise, right? So if you have items from cashback or coupon or liquidation sites and stuff like that, or just you're looking for a little bit of side money and you kind of want to turn some of the things around your house that are bigger, or even if they're smaller, and you want to another site to actually list them and potentially get more sales, OfferUp is a great place. Now, two bad things about OfferUp. First and foremost is you can't list from the computer, which obviously sucks, because if you could list from the computer, it would go so much faster. So you have to list from the actual app, which is what I'm going to show you here in a second. The second bad thing about OfferUp is that you can't actually use a multi-channel listing software, right? So one of the multi-channel listing softwares that I recommend is List Perfectly, okay? And that has so many different benefits. I plan on creating a tutorial of how I use List Perfectly to list on many different websites. Basically, there's two ways that I use it. I either post the listing and onto List Perfectly and use List Perfectly to post it everywhere, which is like Poshmark, eBay, Mercari, Grailed, all of those places, because you might as well list them everywhere if it's the same exact time spent on your part. But with List Perfectly specifically, you can't actually list to OfferUp. It won't list to OfferUp because it doesn't work on the computer. You have to list it from the app, okay? And so that's the two drawbacks of the platform. Now, what I do recommend is test this out. It's not going to have as high sales velocity as eBay or Poshmark or probably even Mercari, but it is another place that you can list your items, both arbitrage and drop shipping, like I'm just about to show you here, and get more sales. Now, one of the benefits of this is that it doesn't seem like there's that much competition on here compared to the other marketplaces, right? If you list on Amazon, you're competing with a lot of people. If you list on eBay, you are competing with a lot of people. Same thing with Poshmark, same thing with Mercari, and same thing with Facebook Marketplace, although not as much as the other ones. OfferUp, I've noticed when I post, it literally goes to the homepage and they're like sitting there like all day. So it doesn't seem like you're competing with as many people and you have a different buyer on OfferUp, okay? So with that being said, let's just hop into the tutorial and I'll show you exactly how I drop ship on OfferUp from my phone. Now, because you're on your phone, you have to actually list something ahead of time. Now, you could have Amazon up and you could be listing from Amazon and kind of doing this, on your phone and saving the URLs on your phone. What I recommend that you do is you list somewhere first, whether that's eBay or Poshmark or Mercari or somewhere like that, right? And then take the listings from that site, like I'm gonna show you with Poshmark here as an example, and list them from your phone from that site to OfferUp, because then you'll already have all the description, all the specs potentially, all the information, and all the pictures, right? So now here we are on my phone, and you just want to start, didn't mean to do that, and you just want to start taking the pictures, right? So you want to take screenshots of the pictures, and I'm literally doing that by holding let me figure it out right here. I'm holding the up volume button on an iPhone as well as the lock screen, right? So you just take these screenshots and then you drag the thing down so that you get the pictures. Hit done, and obviously you can do this fast. But what I do is I test this out, and I've been seeing that it's working well for me and getting me sales lately, and that's why I recommend that you also test it out and see what works well for you. Now, clothes like I'm listing here haven't really been working that well on OfferUp, but cashback items or coupon items and some random liquidation items tend to sell a little bit better, right? So like random things that are more impulse buys sell well on OfferUp in my experience, and then clothing obviously sells better on like Mercari and Poshmark and eBay and places like that, okay? You can still sell clothing, and I think I've sold like 1 or 2 pieces of clothes, but the other things sell a lot better, or at least they have the past couple weeks since I've been listing. And basically what I do is like when I'm doing cardio, and I'm just trying to kill time, I'm testing this out. But since it's been working pretty well, and it seems like there's a different kind of buyer on OfferUp that might not necessarily be on all the other places, I do plan to test this a little bit more heavily, and I will definitely report back with the results. But just like the tip of the iceberg, looks super, super worth it. So I'm gonna take the rest of these pictures really fast from my Poshmark listing, and I'm gonna finish listing this. And this listing right here, I actually don't have I don't actually have this piece of inventory like stored away. This is not a liquidation item. This is not a cashback item. This is a drop ship item on Poshmark that I have the listing on Amazon already saved on my computer. And then when somebody orders this, I see that at the bottom of the description, like I'll show you here in a second. It's the same way I approach the Poshmark drop shipping. It's the same way I approach the Facebook Marketplace drop shipping. And then I order that from Amazon. It comes to my house in a day or two, and then I ship it out to the Poshmark customer. And what that lets me do is it lets me ensure the profit margin. Usually it's between like $5 and $20 depending on the item. Usually it's probably more times than not, it's like $5 to $10. But it's like free money essentially, because all I have to do is list, and then I use my automation software on Poshmark to share, and it brings me in sales and extra free money without ever having to like go out and source inventory ahead of time, right? So it's all risk, no reward, or it's all risk, sorry, it's little risk, all reward. And like I said, I'm testing it, but it still works well for me, and it's perfect for beginners that need some extra side money. So let's finish up. I'm not gonna actually grab all these pictures just for the sake of the demo, but obviously I would if I were actually listing this. Well, there's one more, so let's just grab it. And this item actually sells pretty well on Poshmark for me. I think I've sold a couple of these already. And now I'm simply gonna take if we go into edit this listing, and I take the title, and now we're gonna create the listing. And so now that we've already taken all the pictures, that's usually the hardest part of anything. So I'm just gonna post all these in here, and then the title, hit next, and now we need the description. So you'll see here number 7. This means that this is the 7th listing in my actual, on my Amazon URL. So I know when somebody orders this and it says 7 on the bottom of the description, I'm gonna go into my dropship folder, click on 7, it's going to take me to an Amazon URL. I'm going to buy that item and then I'll mark that down. And that's how I approach it. It's really, really easy to keep track of inventory that way, and it works very, very well. So subcategory, this is a woman's sweater. It is new. I'm not going to put the brand in there. Size type, we're going to say it's regular. Now, one of the great things about like a site like Poshmark is you can list multiples. You can't actually do that when you're listing clothing on OfferUp, which is another, you can't list multiple quantities or multiple sizes unless you want to do multiple listings, right? So it's similar to Mercari in that way, which is obviously a drawback of clothing, but that's also why I recommend that you don't really do this with clothing on OfferUp specifically. Maybe do it with like cashback or coupon or other dropship items that are like trinkets or like household things that you use, right? Not necessarily clothing, again, for that reason, right? So it looks like I have, where is it? Let's go to the available quantity. I've listed a bunch of these. So I'm just gonna list like, that's brand. I'm gonna list like medium, or let's go large for the sake of showing you here. Paste the description in, and then bam. And now the price is 45. And the great thing about this is if you look right here, the price is 45 and I make 36 net profit here. So obviously it probably cost me like 20 or 25 bucks to order this on Amazon. So I probably am solidifying like a $10 to $15 profit margin. But the great thing about doing it on OfferUp is and you can also click this firm on price thing as well. So if you want to stay firm on price for a dropship listing, that's probably beneficial for you because you don't really have that much wiggle room. But if not, if it's like a coupon product or a cashback product and it's like all potential profit margin, you can click this off and take offers on it, okay? But one of the benefits is, yes, it's a 12.9 fee, but you can also charge for shipping, and your margin is a lot higher than on Poshmark because Poshmark takes a 20% fee, whereas here you're taking a 12.9% fee. So if you sell it here or you sell a dropship listing on Facebook Marketplace, you're gonna make a lot more than if you would on Poshmark, but obviously Poshmark has higher sales velocity and sales volume, and I get more sales on Poshmark, right? So I'm not gonna enable buy now here on OfferUp because I don't want to like take offers on like something lower. I want to have the option to check my price, make sure I'm still profitable before I actually accept the sale. So I'm gonna say firm on price. I'm not gonna have enable the buy now thing. And then I'm just gonna say small, and then I'm gonna post it. And bam, that's how you list on OfferUp. And so it does take a little bit longer. If you watch the last tutorial, you'll see just how fast you can list on Poshmark with that extension that literally steals that's a bad word, but like copies all the pictures and downloads them right to your downloads folder. So you can list on Poshmark with dropship listings like super, super fast. And then obviously with List Perfectly, you can take those dropship listings and just send them all over to Facebook Marketplace, which also works very, very fast. You can't do that with OfferUp. You have to actually take them directly to from your phone, which does take a little bit of time, but it will give you access to a different market, a different buyer, and a different place to potentially make sales. So I wouldn't make this your be all end all, but it is another tool. And like always, I'm just trying to give you more tools to make more sales and help you make more money. So one of the main issues that I see new sellers face is they don't list enough, right? One of the best tips that I can give you is to list a lot. The biggest problem that I see with people having trouble starting, whether it's drop shipping on Poshmark, like I've shown in the past, or if it's this, or even if it's reselling anything in general, is they don't list enough products, okay? Don't just list 10 things, and when you don't get a sale, then stop, throw your hands up and say it doesn't work. Don't just list 50 things and stop and claim it doesn't work, right? If you really want to make money online, you have to put some work in. Nothing is a magic pill. It doesn't matter how easy the business model looks or how easy the person on YouTube in this example makes it seem, right? Now, that being said, this is pretty easy and that's a big if there, if you're willing to put some work in, okay? And it actually doesn't take all that much work. I don't focus on this like at all, literally at all. It is not my focus whatsoever throughout the day. I focus on my content side of my business and my main reselling side of the business. And I've literally just been testing this out and playing around with it like in the morning when I work out between sets and at night when all my work is done and I'm winding down, right? In that case, I usually put on like one of my favorite YouTubers or listen to an interview with a CEO or something or an audiobook and relax, right? And list at the same time, okay? So it's not like I'm saying that you need to sit down from morning to night listing products to make any money with this. That is not the case, all right? But you will have to list and you will need to put a little bit of work in, okay? The benefit of how I'm going to show you how to do this, though, is that it's pretty much mindless, right? Once you get it down, the software will do about 95% of the heavy lifting for you, if not more. And you just have to verify some things, save the URL of your product so that you can obviously go back there once you get an order, so you can order it yourself and send it to them. And then change some words here and there in a title or a description, or you'll see here once we get to the tutorial, right? But the best way to approach this is to set a goal of consistently listing products every day for a month. Start it out for a month, just set a consistent goal, build some momentum, okay? That goal could be 5 listings a day, and you can literally do, once you get half decent at this, you can do 5 listings in like 5-10 minutes. No joke. It's not hard, okay? Maybe it's 10 a day, maybe it's 20 a day, maybe it's 50 a day, okay? If you really want to scale this quickly, whatever it is, okay? Whatever you have time for. And then you'll look up a month from now, if you do it consistently like that, and have another income stream that's paying you pretty well. Then once you have a good proof of concept and you see firsthand that it's working for you and you're not just taking my word for it, then you can invest more time into listing and scaling, okay? So those are the main issues that I see new sellers face. Let's talk about 3 potential problems that you might run into. Now, the first one is the main issue that a lot of dropshippers face, and that is tracking numbers. And I've actually faced this myself when I started resale dropshipping. I would list things from Amazon, and then I realized, like, okay, I have the tracking number because I have my Amazon account, but how do I give that tracking number to my customer on a different platform, right? And so I'm going to show you how to do that. There's many ways to actually do that, but I recommend using the DSM tool. It's simply a Chrome extension that you can sign up for that converts your Amazon tracking number into a different tracking number that you can then give to the buyer so they can follow along with where their order is. This also helps because it helps you to track your orders. It also helps you to save the tracking number if you want to in a spreadsheet later. And it also helps if there's a potential issue with your order so that you can prove it to the marketplace that you list on, in this case, Facebook Marketplace, that you did ship the item, that it did go to the customer, and that you have tracking proof, okay? Now, the second issue that you might face is cash flow. And this is especially prevalent with new sellers that don't have a lot of money. But, if you're scaled up and you have a lot of money, you could still face this issue as well, okay? So I obviously recommend using a cashback credit card big if there again, if you're responsible. If you're not financially responsible, do not use a credit card, okay? And if this is you and you're using a cashback credit card, definitely pay attention to my next point here in a second. But if not, then you simply want to just open up a new bank account just for this, okay? I recommend opening up a brand new bank account. It will make it very, very easy. Then put a few $100s into it. Or if you have, 100 or whatever it is, right? My recommendation is a few $100 to start this, so you have a little bit of cash flow, and then keep it simple, right? You don't need to overcomplicate it in the beginning. That will protect your downside, so you're not charging thousands of dollars up on a credit card, while also allowing you to make money. And so you see your bank account steadily increasing as you sell more products and as you get more money back from the Facebook payments that you're collecting, right? And I also recommend that, especially if you're using a cashback credit card, but it really doesn't matter in both instances, if you're using cash on a debit card or your bank account, or if you're using a cashback credit card, track everything, especially when you're a beginner, okay? Now, I'm going to show you my system here. It makes it very, very easy. And what I basically do now that I'm a little bit more advanced is I don't really track my profit. I just assume, because I'm not worried about the cash flow and I'm not worried about the margins potentially, because when I go, you'll see it here in a second, but as I go and order something, if somebody orders it from me, right, then I go in to order it from wherever my supplier is. In this specific tutorial, I'm going to show you Amazon. God forbid, I'm not making profit and I'm losing money, I'll just delete that listing, right? And it's not that big of a deal. So I'll ship it to the customer and just take that loss there. I also don't personally worry about returns, but that's just me, right? And I'll also show you my inventory system. So I'm a little bit more scaled now and I'm not that worried about it. This is not just Facebook Marketplace. I do this on a number of other marketplaces as well. And I plan on creating tutorials on them coming very, very soon. I'm excited about this. But if you're new, you should track everything, okay? That way you know your numbers the best way to do this is with a spreadsheet, okay? Or simply list high if you want to, and then delete products, like I said, if the price goes too high. And you can also cancel an order on many platforms, especially Facebook Marketplace, although I would recommend trying to avoid that if possible. If you're taking a loss on a product and it's not that substantial of a loss, just take the loss, delete that product, move on to the next product. Same thing with a return. People are always like, well, how do you calculate returns in your profit margin, or how do you account for them? And the answer is very, very simple. Don't overcomplicate it. You can also track that in your spreadsheet, but I don't worry about it, right? Because for every, I don't know the specific numbers, but let's say for every 100 orders I have, I might get one return, okay? So it's not something that I'm really that worried about, but you can obviously address that problem as you go. I would rather than worrying about like returns and potentially spending my finite energy worrying about things like that, I would rather spend that finite energy listing more in other places, okay? So in short, track everything when you're new, or you can simply follow along with a tutorial like I'm about to show you and just do it like I do, okay? Now, the last thing is that it does seem that on a lot of these listings, and this is just anecdotal, I don't have any, proof of this yet. It's just data that I'm seeing. It does seem that there's a lot of listings that might have kind of a short shelf life on Amazon, right? Or not on Amazon, on Facebook Marketplace. I'm used to saying Amazon, meaning that they basically go stale and you need to renew the listing potentially sometimes to get more visibility and make it new. Now, I'm still testing this and I'm still looking at data, but that's just what I'm seeing on quite a few listings so far. Now, obviously, like I said before, you should also use a cashback credit card. Just to recap, you can also use things like Honey and Rakuten when you're buying, and other cashback things for extra money. And I have tutorials on all of these. I'll try to remember to link a Honey, a Rakuten, and a cashback credit card tutorial of the best ones that I recommend, how to use Honey and also how to use Rakuten, down at the bottom of the description, okay? Now, finally, let's get all the boring stuff out of the way. Before we actually get into the tutorial here in a second, there's some things that you're going to need to start. It's very, very simple. You need a Facebook account, which probably 99.9% of you that are watching this have. If you don't have a Facebook account, then just simply sign up for one. It might take you, honestly, like a day or two, because they do a lot of verification things if you're new, because who doesn't have a Facebook account? But if that's you, it's totally fine. Just sign up for one. You'll be able to get one, okay? You also need some money to obviously spend in a bank account, or you need a credit card, okay? Very, very simple. Two other things that you're going to need that make this really, really streamlined and really make this a lot easier on you is ZDrop, which is the Chrome extension that I use to actually list things, right? And what that does, you'll see in the tutorial here in a second, is it takes Amazon listings and automatically posts them to Facebook Marketplace super quickly. And this is a game changer. I used to literally copy everything myself manually, but this saves you probably a minute or two, if not more, even if you're going fast, right? It saves you a lot of time. And as you're listing more and more items, that's going to exponentially increase the amount of money jumped ahead of myself, the amount of listings that you're able to list, which will obviously increase the amount of money that you're able to make and your profit, okay? So ZDrop Chrome extension is what we're going to use here. You can download that on the Chrome store. The other Chrome extension, again, on the Chrome store for Google Chrome, is the DSM tool. And that's a great way that, like I touched on previously, if you do decide to use Amazon as your supplier, then you'll obviously need to convert their tracking number into a different carrier's tracking number, okay? This specific one converts it automatically into a Blue Care Express tracking number, which obviously then you can input into Facebook in this case, or any specific, marketplace that you're doing this on, so that the buyer can obviously track their order. Now, remember, to recap, you cannot just input a Amazon tracking number. You can, so be careful. I don't mean to say you can't actually put it in, they won't let you. You can, but then it will become apparently obvious what you're doing, and the buyer obviously won't be able to track, right? So you need to input the tracking number and then give them the actual, the Blue Care Express tracking number place where they can actually track their thing if they ask for it, okay? And you also need to remember that you need to input a tracking number within 3 days after they make the order. So make sure whoever you use ships out quickly. Okay, so now before we actually get into the tutorial really fast, I want to bring to your attention two parts of this ZDrop Chrome extension that you'll see right up here that really I won't be going over specifically in this tutorial, but are going to be super helpful for you if you want to use them in your own dropshipping business as well, okay? So the first thing is that you can bulk upload. You'll see these little 3 red things right here are part of the ZDrop extension. Once you download this and you sign up, I believe it does cost $10, but it comes with a free trial. Once you actually do download this and you refresh your window and you're logged in, you'll see these things pop up, okay? So one of the ways I'm going to show you here in a second is to simply copy it to Facebook Marketplace, okay? You can also, if it's something that's vintage or handmade, also copy it to Etsy, although obviously this example right here doesn't work. Or you can save it to your bulk list, okay? So if you hit save to the bulk list, which I'm not going to because this is already on my bulk list specifically, if you come up here and you click the ZDrop extension, you'll see that there's a bunch of things in my bulk list, right? And so what you can do, I'm not going to actually demonstrate it here because it will actually take a lot of time to actually list all these things. It's going to literally go down and list every single thing that I've included in my bulk list. Is you can go over to bulk and then you can run the bulk and you'll see there's only 2 things actually in my bulk list right here. But then I can run the bulk after I select all and it will literally post them all to Facebook Marketplace. And then you just need to go through and verify, like, put the price in, make sure that the price is set up, obviously, if you're not doing it with a template like I'm about to show you. Or you also need to verify like the title or make sure the pictures are basically, fine and everything. So bulk is super easy way to list a bunch of things. You can go to Amazon and simply, once you're on a bunch of listings like this, just simply save to bulk list, and do it with I wouldn't get too crazy. Maybe save it 20 to 50 and then list them all and go ahead and verify, right? You don't want to get too carried away because if you start listing with bulk on 100 things or 1,000 things, you're never going to actually finish that before you boot down your computer or before you go to sleep or something like that, right? So I wouldn't get too carried away, but you can use that. It's a game changer and it will list them super fast. And then you just need to verify a few things. Now, another thing I want to touch on really briefly with this extension is that you can set up a template as well so that when you post your products, for example, it already starts out with a 20% profit margin, or always hide it from friends on Facebook Marketplace, which is exactly what I do. So now that we've got all that out of the way, let me show you exactly how I go ahead and do this, okay? So what I'm going to do, and one of the best tips that I can give you is to also, first of all, you want to list a lot of things like we've covered before, but also list obscure things. List everything that you see, okay? Yes, you want to list things that are best sellers. Yes, you want to list things that have high profit margins. Yes, you want to list things that are cheap. Yes, you want to list things that are expensive, right? And what I'm basically saying is list a bunch of things. It's the best way that you're going to figure out what works for you that isn't working for other people, right? If I gave a one size fits all, this is the best category, this is the best type of product that you should list, this is the best type of profit margin that you should go after, then everybody would do that and eventually it would get saturated, right? And then it would cease to be the best thing or the best category. The best tip that I can give you is find out for yourself, okay? So you can go to best sellers, you can go into a category, you can find products in any number of ways. And obviously I'm using Amazon here as an example, but you can source from a number of websites as long as it gets shipping and you get a tracking number, okay? There's a bunch of them out there. I'm not gonna list them for you, like Walmart, Home Depot, Target, anything like that you can list from, okay? So for this example, I'm going to go into the best sellers and let's just pick a random category. Let's go to kitchen and dining. And you typically want to, there's 2 ways to approach it. Either the volume approach where you just list a bunch of things and probably in that case, everything that you list is not going to sell. Chances are a lot of things will never make a sale, right? But all you need is a couple that start to get recurring sales that pick up traction, and that will cover your profit and pay for all the time you spent listing the others, right? So remember, like I said, do not just go ahead and list 10 things or 50 things and think it doesn't work. You need to actually put the work in consistently, and then you'll have a couple products that hit and they will be recurring income for you as people continue to order, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and list this kitchen drawer organizer. Why not? And maybe this smoothie maker really fast to give you 2 examples, okay? And I'm going to show you how I do this, but you can list best sellers, or you can list often, sometimes the best products are things that you wouldn't think sell. So I come down here and I'm and I've actually sold this before, so I'm going to list that one as well. But so you often the things that you don't think will sell well are indeed the things that actually drop ship well, right? Because a lot of people are going down and giving their gut opinion of oh, this looks like it's a high profit margin. I could probably drop ship this for more. or, oh, this looks like a high profit margin, I can drop ship this for more. And like, this isn't very exciting. So like maybe someone skips over this, or like the majority of people do, but maybe this drop ships very well. And so the best tip that I can give you, like I said before, is to try a bunch of different things. And then slowly you will see what works for you and what does not. Okay. So just put up a bunch of random ones. I'm only going to show you like one or two because I don't want to waste your time. Let's go to like a good one here. My computer's being really slow because it's running software in the background. So let's drop ship this butane torch from Amazon specifically here. It's a great listing as well because you can see that there's a lot of ratings on it. You can also see that there's a relatively cheap price on this, and it's highly rated and has the Amazon's Choice badge. So you can pretty much guess. It's not for certain, right? Don't take my word on this, but you can pretty much guess that this is not going to go out of stock anytime soon, if ever. And then also not really going to change the price. Now, if you want to do, I don't have Keep It installed. Do I have Keep It installed? I don't have Keep It installed right now. It's not going because the extension's hidden. But you can also use Keep It to verify if there's been like price fluctuations recently. But I don't want to get into that right here. I'm trying to keep this beginner friendly, okay? So all you need to do to list this to Facebook Marketplace is copy to Facebook. And all it's going to do is it's going to simply copy it to Facebook. Now, it might go a little bit slow because I have this up and I also have a bunch of like cross posting for List Perfectly in the background. So like it's doing that while I'm doing this. So it's being a little bit slow. And then you simply, once it opens up this blank page on Facebook Marketplace, and you need to obviously have a Facebook Marketplace account signed up. You need to sign up for Facebook and then obviously open a Facebook Marketplace and verify your payment so they can charge you for shipping and stuff like that. But then you just want to hit paste data once it opens it up there. And then it should slowly start pasting that listing in. And that's the simplicity of it. That's all you need to do, right? The Chrome extension does all the heavy lifting for you. Now it's taking a minute. There we go. It's even going to paste the tags or some tags, which is obviously something that's really, really cool that I haven't seen before personally. And you can also see that with the template that I set up, it automatically hides it from friends, which I know is a big thing for a lot of people, because if you have like you can also do this from like a business page and list from a business page, but a lot of people are going to be listing from their personal page. And so a lot of people have an issue. They're like, I don't want to constantly be posting like hundreds of things to my friends every day. They're going to hate me. So just simply hit the hide from friends button. You can do it manually, or you can set that up in your template on ZDrop. Another thing that the template automatically does is that you'll see it set the price to 18 because I automatically have it set at a 20%. I think it's 20% profit margin. So it marked it up 20%. So $15.99 to $18. And then I think that's 20%. Yeah, that's 20%. And then, so it already automatically does that for me, right? Now, you'll see how to verify the price here once we go to next, and it'll tell you your profit margin. But let me go through this slowly of exactly how I would do this. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to be able to track where your product's URL is, right? Because if somebody orders this, you need to know where to actually go ahead and buy it so you can make the profit and ship them the item. So I'm going to copy the URL. I'm then going to open up a folder full of my drop shipping listings. You can literally see just like numbers here, right? So I know if somebody orders a listing, go back to Facebook, orders a listing with a number at the bottom of the description. Let's say, for example, this is 99, right? And I see that somebody orders this and I go down to the description and it says 99. Well, then I can simply come back into my dropshipping folder, click on 99, and that will take me to the URL, okay? And I know exactly where I actually purchased that. So I'm going to save this as a shortcut. I'm going to save the URL that I just copied, and then I'm going to click the next number is 96. So now I'm going to put that number 96 in the bottom of this description, not 99. So I know when somebody orders this, I go to 96 in my dropshipping folder and I simply order that product and send it to this person, right? Very, very simple way to do it. Very, very easy and streamlined way to run your inventory, okay? Now I'm also going to, since I'm already here, going to add some tags in here. So let's scroll up and then we'll just put some tags in. You can see it added some tags, but like I want some more specific tags. So we're going to go like butane torch, mini torch. I don't know anything about torches. We'll go like cooking torch. I don't know, maybe lighter. And I would probably add a few more. You can add up to 20, but I would add some here if it didn't add like good ones in there already, okay? But for the sake of showing you, I'm not going to get too involved here. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to come up. It doesn't always do this, but this extension does this almost every time. It adds this here in the top of the description. Make sure this fits by entering your model number. Make sure this blah, 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 right? So you don't want to actually keep that in your description. You want to delete it out. And then I like to give myself another little extra space here because I like to paste the title on the top of the description, but that's just how I approach it. You don't need to do that. You can simply just delete that, okay? Because if you look at the Amazon description here, that's not there, right? It starts with note butane gas, but for whatever reason, it just puts that in. Let me show it to you again. It just puts that in the top of the title for not every listing, but for the majority of listings, okay? So delete that, space it down because we're going to add the title in there. Now we're just going to simply go up the list, right? So we need to add and adjust all these things right here. So it's no, it's not that. It's not outdoor lighting. I'm just going to say tools for the sake of demonstrating here, but I probably want to find like the best category here. It might be like kitchen or home improvement, like something along those lines. But for the sake of showing you, I'm going to just do it like this. I rarely add the brand in here unless it's something like Little Tykes or something like, something that you would like what's another? DeWalt's a good one that seems to get a lot of traction on Facebook. So like, if it's a brand like that, that's easily recognizable that people might be searching for, add the brand in, right? That makes sense. But I generally don't. Now, two ways that you can do this is you can just keep track of your margins. If you really want to make more sales, but not have a high profit margin, you will make more sales at the more competitive your prices are, right? So I'm going to make more sales, chances are, at $18 than I would at like 25, right? But I'm going to list this relatively high, maybe go like 23 here, because I'd rather list it high so I don't really have to pay attention to it. And then I just know that there's a lot of potential profit in there. On top of that, I already know that it's not really going to change the price much because it's Amazon's choice, and it's, the price here isn't going to fluctuate. It's pretty much set. That's not always the case, but it is for the majority of cases. Okay. So I'm going to list it at $23. I'm going to say like available quantity. Like you can list this like maybe like 1 to 5 realistically. I would list more than one quantity if you're drop shipping, because if you only list quantity of 1, then you're going to have to relist it every single time. But I wouldn't go crazy. I wouldn't be like, oh, I never have to relist this. I'm just going to put 99 quantity, because that's going to set off major red flags to Facebook. If you constantly listing like so much quantity of everything, they're going to be like, okay, something's up here. We need to look into this. Okay. It's not like you're not allowed to do this, at least to my knowledge. I don't know if this is against Facebook's terms of service yet on the marketplace, but chances are they're going to want to steer clear of this in the future if it's not currently. So I would just protect yourself, maybe 1 to 5 max, okay? And then I'm going to fix the title here. So we're going to go like kitchen, butane torch, culinary torch, referable. And then at the end of this, because sometimes it cuts off, you can leave it if you don't really care and you're just going for volume. I like to kind of fix it really fast. So like with safety lock. Boom. And we're going to select all of this because, like I said, we are going to paste it in the top of the description. And that's how our listing is going to look, right? When somebody comes to this listing on Facebook Marketplace and buys it, we're going to make the markup and profit. And that listing doesn't look too bad. I know when somebody buys this, I go to 96 here. It's got some tags and it looks pretty solid, okay? And that was like kind of like a slow tutorial. It took a while for me to actually show you that, but that's because I was demonstrating. If you do this on your own and you learn it and you do it quickly, you can really bang these out in like a minute, if not less, honestly, especially with this Chrome extension. So I'm going to do another one really fast here for you in a second, just to kind of show you the quickness that you can obviously do this in. But let me finish this listing really fast. It's hidden from friends. That's good. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to go shipping only. I'm going to use my own shipping label, right? We don't use a prepaid shipping label. In the old tutorial, I was like, okay, you can combine like retail drop shipping with like arbitrage and order it to your house first. And that's going to protect you, obviously. You're allowed to do that on a lot of platforms, okay? That said, if you're trying to save time, you don't want to actually do the fulfillment yourself. And it kind of can be a hassle verifying all that stuff when you have packages coming to you and then you're shipping them out. It can be a lot to kind of manage. So what I recommend is obviously just ship it with your own label, and then you can order it directly from Amazon or wherever. This is how dropshipping actually works, right? Order it from Amazon specifically or from whatever website that you're obviously ordering from, whoever your supplier is, directly to the customer, right? And then you can use the tracking number like I've said before, okay? And then I'm going to offer free shipping. Me personally, because I have Amazon Prime, and in this specific case, I'm using obviously Amazon to do it. It doesn't cost me anything to ship it, right? Amazon's going to ship it for free. So you can see here that after all is said and done, if I sell this at $23 and I'm obviously making $21.85 after fees, that's one of the benefits of Facebook Marketplace dropshipping is their fees are so low, only 5%, which is the lowest online with a marketplace where there's a lot of customers on. So this is a great opportunity right now, and their fees are so low, so your margins are going to be higher. So I'm going to make $21.85 when I list this. If somebody buys it, obviously, I'm buying it for about $15, so that's a $6 profit margin, or almost a $7 profit margin. Okay, so I'm literally almost making 50% margin here on this product, right? I think that is over 50%. So then we're going to hit next, and we are going to list it, okay? Now, a few caveats here. I did save this, correct? I did, yeah, 96. So we're going to move on to the next one, and I'll show you another example. Let's list this thing really fast. But another thing that you can do, once, just a little caveat for staying this long, is you can also use List Perfectly to cross-post it elsewhere, okay? So with the Chrome extension, like I showed you, right, you have ZDrop. If we go back to this, you'll see that ZDrop only integrates with 2 marketplaces. It only integrates with Facebook Marketplace or Etsy. So you're like, okay, well, I guess I can't dropship on other marketplaces. But if you use a multi-channel listing software, where is it? Right here. If you use a multi-channel listing software, I'm going to create a tutorial on this coming very, very soon. This is a game changer. I've been using it a lot lately, and I always used to use this to like post everywhere. So if you go to listperfectly.com, I used to just and I still do it like this when I'm reselling my own reselling business, right? Instead of like posting it on eBay and then posting it on Mercari and then posting it on, wherever, right? Poshmark. What I basically do is I'd post it to List Perfectly, and List Perfectly would just, boom, post it everywhere at the same time, right? So I still use it like that. But now I also use it in my dropshipping business, because you can also cross-post from Poshmark to Mercari, from Facebook Marketplace to Poshmark, from Facebook Marketplace to Etsy, and so on and so forth. So if you hit this little cross-post listing, once you have List Perfectly installed and you obviously subscribe to it, and I'll drop a List Perfectly affiliate link down in the description. I think you can save 50%, I believe. I forget the actual deal that they have, but 50% off the first month or something like that. I'll put the details of whatever you can save down in the description. And you'll see that once you click that, you can literally post it everywhere else. Okay, so I'm not going to get into too much of where you want to cross post this, because every marketplace is slightly different. So for example, you can't obviously do this on Poshmark, because on Poshmark, for example, you need to use their labels, right? So you can't, dropshipping on Poshmark works very, very differently. But you could hypothetically post this to eBay. You could hypothetically post this to Instagram. You could hypothetically post this to Mercari. You could hypothetically, you get the picture, right? So every marketplace is different. I'm not saying post it everywhere. You need to know the specific nuances of every marketplace, but you can use List Perfectly to post your dropshipping listings other places, right? So for example, if I wanted to post this to Mercari, I could just go boom, copy it. And like I said, tutorial coming on this soon. I just want to give you a little caveat to help you out and help you make more money. Listed other places where you can get sales, and you get the picture. It's going to slowly post my listing to Mercari. I'm not doing this. It's just doing this for me. Okay. So little caveat there. Just wanted to kind of show that to you. All right. So now let's post one more really, really quickly to show you the tutorial one more time. Okay. So I'm going to copy it to Facebook, and I'm just going to sit here as it copies to Facebook. Okay. And as soon as that little button pops up right here, I'm going to click paste it, right? So paste data, bam. And the only thing that's doing this right here is the ZDrop Chrome extension. It's going automatically right now. It's, like I said, taking a little bit of time because I have a bunch of software and cross posts going in the background. And as soon as it stops pasting the tags in, you know it's done. So bam, it's done. So now let's go hand blender, personal, blender, I don't know, appliance. I'm just coming up with these quickly. Kitchen, appliance, and you get the picture. I don't even know if I spelled that right. We're just going to go with it. I believe the next number was 97. So we're going to copy the URL and go into the folder and go shortcut, paste the URL, 97. And now we know that anytime somebody orders 97, I'm coming to 97 and clicking that, right? So there we go with that. Let's fix the top of the description. Again, they always post this in there. Don't put that in there, okay? So it's new. We're going to say it's a mixer and a blender. It posts already a 20% margin, so $36, and it was posted for 30. I'm going to list this a little bit higher. Let's go like 43. I'm going to go with quantity 3, and I'm going to take the brand out here. We're just going to say like Ultra Stick 500 watt, 5-speed immersion purpose hand blender. Yeah. Go to the end and go heavy duty and just take that off. It's not the best title, but for the sake of demonstration purposes, I'm not going to change it much. And then we just come down. I'm not going to add the brand. I'm going to paste the title in there and everything's set up perfectly, right? It's already hidden from friends because I set that up as a template on the actual Chrome extension. And then we're going to go shipping only. We're going to go use your own label so that I can obviously send it to whoever I want with my own shipping. And then I'm going to add free shipping. And you'll see here that I'm going to make $40.85 after fees when somebody buys this, which obviously leaves me a $10 profit margin. Boom. Next, publish, list. And there you go. It's going to list it to Facebook Marketplace. Okay. So that's Facebook Marketplace dropshipping in a nutshell. That's how you do it super, super fast. Now, again, let me show you really fast. So we'll jump to it here now. So here's a perfect example of something that I ordered that's on the way to me, right? Now, this is not a dropshipping listing. I ordered this obviously for my reselling business. It's tape. I order multiple of these like every single week, but I love this tape. It works so well, right? But you'll see, updating your Blue Care tracking, please wait. So originally right here, it had the Amazon tracking number, which is what it shows you. But because I have the DSM tool, it converts that as the extension into the tracking for Blue Care Express, right? So I can copy this tracking number and I can put that into Facebook so that my buyer can track, right? And you need to do this within 3 days, but obviously Amazon or the majority of companies will update this within like 24 hours, usually maybe 48 hours max, but that rarely happens. And that way you don't need to run into the issue of giving them an Amazon tracking number. You can just convert it to a Blue Care Express. So hope you guys like this. I really hope that you enjoyed the tutorial. I've been playing around with this a lot lately and seeing that it actually works. So I wanted to recommend it to you. So we're going to cover some tips for Facebook Marketplace sellers. Now, some of these tips are just going to give you more insight into how to sell more on the actual platform. Some of them are going to be little tips about the back end and the logistics and the specifics of the marketplace, but there's about 6 or 7. Let's just jump into them. Now, the first tip, and this is not just for Facebook Marketplace, but this is literally for any platform like it. It's for eBay, it's for Poshmark, it's for Mercari, it's for any platform like it, not necessarily so much on Amazon, although it can be on Amazon. It's going to depend, obviously, what you're kind of selling on Amazon, how you're competing in a lot of different things. But that's obviously list high and be patient, specifically for Facebook Marketplace. But like I said, this goes for a lot of places, right? And the reason you want to do this is, especially on Facebook Marketplace, you're going to get some people that make you lowball offers. And you're also going to want to list higher so that you have a potential higher price point, and also so that when you drop the price or if you take an offer, you create that kind of illusion of urgency and the illusion of value there, right? If you list your prices too low, too fast, or too soon, then obviously it doesn't give you much wiggle room profit-wise, and you won't be able to accept any offers. So list high, be patient. Seems pretty simple, but a lot of people don't do it. Trust me, this will make a massive difference. Even if you don't sell listings more, like as fast, you can list more, and then obviously there'll be more longer term listings, and you won't need to kind of manage them as much. Total headache saver, total life saver. Now, also, one of the benefits of Facebook Marketplace, and a lot of them do this now, and they're starting to move forward like this. I think Amazon's the only one, to my belief, that doesn't fully do it, and it's only for specific states. My specific state in PA, they do. But obviously, Facebook Marketplace collects and remits sales tax on your behalf, so that's great for sellers, because then there's no need for you to worry about reporting it come tax season. There's no need for you to worry about collecting it. They'll literally do that for you, and obviously paying it come tax time, okay? Also, another benefit is there's no returns. All sales are final is their current policy. Now, that might change, but currently that's their policy, okay? Now, currently a customer can actually request to cancel, but only if it hasn't been marked shipped yet. If you've already shipped it out, then they can't request to cancel, and all sales are final, okay? That doesn't mean screw people over or scam people, because then obviously they can report it to Facebook in certain situations, or in other situations they can obviously give you bad reviews or ratings, but typically all sales are final. So if you're listing something and you're doing a good job of listing it, and the listing represents exactly what the item is, then typically all sales are final, and you don't have to worry about returns as long as you've shipped it out. Now, if a customer does request to cancel and you haven't shipped it out yet, then it's obviously your prerogative, and up to you if you want to accept that or not. Very similar to Poshmark in a lot of ways. Also, Facebook Marketplace currently, because it's so new, I would assume they probably will, as it grows and kind of evolves a little bit more, they'll raise these, but currently has the cheapest fees. Facebook Marketplace has 5% of the sale fees, which is ridiculously low, okay? And that's phenomenal for sellers. There are special fees as well if you sell a price like super low. I think I forget the specifics of it. It might be like under $1 or $2 or something like that. Then there's specific fees that obviously aren't 5% of the sale. It's like a set price. But the majority of us obviously won't need to worry about that. So we're not even going to touch on that, okay? And that compares to Poshmark, for example, which is 20%, and Mercari and eBay, which are roughly 12%. Now, it might depend on if you have an eBay store or if you're selling individual items and a number of other things. But typically that's, what the majority of us are going to see. And Amazon really depends, right? It's whatever they want. Just kidding, obviously. But it actually does depend a lot on if you have an individual seller plan, a professional seller plan, whether you do your own fulfillment, whether you decide to ship it into FBA, what type of item you have, meaning like the weight, the dimensions, etc. So we won't get too much into that, but clearly Facebook Marketplace has the cheapest fees. So that benefits us because if we sell it there, we're going to make more money. Another thing that I want to hit on is that SEO on Facebook Marketplace matters, okay? Do not sleep on this. It matters a lot more than you think. And it matters on a number of marketplaces, but especially a newer marketplace like Facebook Marketplace, okay? So that means don't just paste in short or bad titles and skimp over them and not take time on them, right? You want a good reading title, but put keywords in there that people are going to be able to search and find so that you rank higher, okay? Most people will not be doing this. And so if you do this and you go the extra mile and spend an extra minute or two on your listing, it will make a massive difference, I promise you, especially here, okay? So don't just paste in short or bad titles. Don't just paste in short or bad descriptions. Don't skimp on your tags. Put as many good tags in there as possible and make sure they're relevant. And also make sure you save your pictures. Another little tidbit there that I've covered in my Facebook Marketplace tutorials is save your pictures with keywords in their metadata, right? So when you're saving the picture and you're titling the picture, don't just name it like picture 1, right? Or like X1, X2. Save it as the same keywords as your title, or the same, literally as many keywords as you possibly can that are relevant, because that's going to actually matter in your metadata, okay? And finally, in the beginning on any marketplace, but especially somewhere where, ratings are very relevant, so Mercari or eBay for that matter, and Amazon is a little bit different and Poshmark is a little bit different, but for specifically Facebook Marketplace, ratings matter a lot, okay? Social proof is massive and will help you sell a lot more. Now, if you have no ratings, that's totally fine. Everybody starts there, right? But customers won't buy from you as much and with as much trust. So if you don't have any ratings or many ratings yet, like I said, totally fine. But then you might want to think about at least selling a few things in the beginning at low prices so that you can get some sales and some positive ratings, okay? Even if you don't net a profit, or even if you sell something around the house in the beginning, trust me, it's worth it because you will get ratings and that will allow you to sell more going forward at higher price points, and people will just buy from you with a lot more trust and not think about it as much, okay? If they look at an item and they're about to buy it and they see that the seller has no ratings or like 1 rating, they're going to have a lot more trepidation than if the seller has 20 5-star ratings. They're going to trust you a lot more, okay? So those are some tips that are going to help you sell more on the marketplace, and some back-end stuff that, was really going to give you good insight into selling and, different things on the marketplace, but I really hope that they help. Okay, so one thing I want to touch on really, really briefly, and I'm not going to show you because it's really, really fast to just kind of talk about it so you understand it, is not to cancel orders. Now, on one of the marketplaces, eBay in particular, Amazon does this as well, but obviously Amazon's slightly a different marketplace. So marketplaces like Poshmark, Mercari, and others like that, you're not really going to run into this issue. But for example, eBay is one of the marketplaces that takes canceled orders super, super seriously. The reason being is they don't want their buyers to come there, have an experience of constantly ordering a product and then the seller canceling on them, right? So they really ding you as a seller for canceling orders. And I really learned this over the weekend doing this on Facebook Marketplace. I had to cancel 2 orders. Neither of them were because I didn't have the product or I didn't have the product in stock or anything like that. It was simply because one of the people actually ordered a variation of the product that I didn't even list. So I messaged them and I was like, if you want this specific variation, like I don't have that. Do you want me to cancel the order? I have a variety pack and that's what I plan on shipping out to you. And the guy was like, okay, yeah, like I wanted the variation. So I had to cancel that order, right? But I canceled it as like buyer requested, okay? In the other instance, the lady ordered two of the same exact product. So she ordered the same product twice. So I messaged her, like, trying to be a good seller and be like, did you mean to order this twice, or did you, do that by accident? And she came back and said she did it by accident. She only wanted one of them. So I canceled one of the orders and shipped her out the other one. Okay. And so I realized over the weekend, because I got a notification on Facebook Marketplace, and they basically were like, hey, your seller account is in danger of being, I guess like restrictions on it or something like that, almost like it was eBay. And because this isn't like a fairly new marketplace, I guess it's within the year, so it is still fairly new, but I've been selling on this, over the past couple months and kind of testing it out just here and there, and now I'm scaling it up. So I've never really faced this cancellation issue before, so I wanted to bring it to your attention. So moral of the story here is do not cancel orders if you can avoid it, okay? If you have to cancel an order, okay, fine. Then obviously the more you sell, the lower your cancellation rate will be, and it won't be a big deal. In my experience, you can't go over 10% cancellation rate so far on Facebook Marketplace. Now, one of the things that you can do though is you can go into your account and into your account and then your canceled orders and request a review, which is exactly what I did. And then because I showed them the message of the people literally saying that, and it was because the buyer wanted to cancel and not me as the seller canceling, they then reviewed them and they won't count them anymore against my cancellation rate. But I just wanted to kind of make a quick lecture here, cautioning you, saying don't cancel orders if you can avoid it. If you can't avoid it, that's one thing, obviously. But if you can avoid it, then ship something out to them or buy it from a different marketplace if you don't have it and ship it to them. Avoid cancellations at all costs, because you'd rather have the privilege and the ability to sell on Facebook Marketplace just like it were eBay in an instance, right? Rather than face, restrictions on your account and how much you can list or whether or not you can even list simply because you canceled a few orders, okay? So it's not a big deal. Just keep an eye out for it. Avoid cancellations if possible. And currently, I believe you need to stay under a 10% cancellation rate.